looking for that aggression that I was talking about with the hatred from Old Chicken, but good TP reaction from RR even after that death.
Lane stabilizing here pretty nicely for Ehome, despite the 3-0 start. They're leading as far as net worth goes. Variance going slightly Execration's way. So it's even here in the early moments, Mob, but compare that to last game where Execration were getting crushed and they still won the game.
Yeah, and I gotta say, heading towards the late game, it's certainly not cutting
mid lane, moving on Abed.
Right, is he gonna fall? Start Storm? Yeah, he's dead. That's just too much damage and great rotations that I guess Abed wasn't expecting.
I think the Doppelganger was still on cooldown there, and when it's on cooldown, you look at the Ehome draft, they're a great ganking lineup later on once the Nyx hits 6 and starts to move and once the Lifestealer and Best Bombs begin, but at this stage, normally you don't expect a Phoenix to gank, so that's just Ehome playing unpredictably and catching PL a bit off guard there.
Yeah, I mean, they're rotating back up to top as well to try to find more, and RR is very concerned about this lane. He even drops a sentry to make sure there's no vision, but in fact there's a ward. It's just over at the ancient stack. So he's got the right idea. Unfortunately, he will miss out on finding the sentry in the correct position. Old Chicken, he's got the infused range drop, one of the best items in the game, if not the best item, especially if you talk to Winter. He loves that item, so...
Loves and hates it, but it's a relationship one way or the other. RR getting caught out here, goes for the quick TP.
This might work. He'll make it out barely. He's set with 30 HP in the well.
Raindrop saving lives, Mod.
Yeah, again, great item. Keeps him up and ready, so that... I guess...
Did I detect the twinge of sarcasm there? You sound like an angry support player who's been denied by Raindrops.
Yeah, I have, but also Raindrops have saved my life too numerous times, so I can't be too upset about the item.
Not bad here, farming up the mid lane. So, despite the constant pressure, even on CS with Old Chicken, the Jug even with the Lifestealer, it's really a fine laning stage for Execration and for Ehome doing okay as well. So then you look towards the mid game, and for me, I don't really feel like either lineup has just like a straight up, oh, they're the better draft late game, or this is a lineup who has a clearly better timing. Both are ganking oriented lineups. Both have good pickoff potential. Both have pretty good late game. It's just going to come down to who makes the better moves around the map. And it's hard to say who that'll be. Ehome have the Infest Bombs, but Execration have the Batrider for vision, the Glimpses for pickoffs. They are getting levels on their supports here, so a much more even game and one that should be very back and forth heading towards the mid game.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how this plays out. And you're right, going to the late game, it's not super cut and dry with who comes out.
Arrow in the mid lane, gonna miss the Scout the Courier coming in.
I was wondering if there was any ancient stacks, or not ancient stacks rather, but just stacks in general. Stun comes out on the Hobbit from Gold 11, but he'll be fine. Down bottom, looks like they're rotating that tier 1, but it's going to be glyphed and bottom will rotate in. But yeah, no jungle stacks coming out from Execration, so this Batrider kind of has to do it.
They're going to go for Old Lanham here in a second, I think. No, he backs very far away.
Yeah. Finally, level 6 will come out from RR. His levels actually roughly the same with the Nyx Assassin, who's now rotated. I think actually he's taking over mid as Old Chicken's top lane, looking for that pick-off potential. But RR knows this, and he's going to be home.
So for Ehome right now, they're mainly waiting for Nyx to get level 6. Vendetta will come out, and they will start looking for pickoffs. That is the hero that needs to be moving around the most together with Ice looking for Infest Bombs, who, by the way, did stop off for a Midas here. Very uncommon pickup on the Lifestealer nowadays. Used to be a go-to grab, but suggests Ehome are really counting on him to get mega farmed.
That's kind of surprising to me, and it makes his early game just not necessarily
that's an armlet, basically.
Yeah,
like at this point, he would have an armlet, so it delays when they look for those big team fights, but obviously gives them that little bit of extra heading towards the mid game.
Tier 1 tower top will be taken. Now Nando setting bottom. Here we go. The TP's going to come in. Ehome's looking for the Lifesteal with Ice. Ticklem's back. He's got range and he'll use it. Now there's play Fury. Nando needs to TP out and he will make it away. Again, another great TP coming out from Execration squad to get out of a bad situation.
And I don't see Ehome pushing in on the bottom lane. This is a very healthy tier 1. Defense will be mounted, so forcing the TP, still getting the tower. Slight win there for Execration, I would say, overall. Limits a bit of the Lifestealer's farm time. And this is the stage of the game where supports look to get their levels. Tim's trying to get his level 6. Fenrir doing the same. Meanwhile, Ehome, though, moving in under cover of smoke. They've got a Hastern up here on the Mirana. Looking for chemo and...
See you later, I think. Starstorm, that'll grab the kill. And right now, 10 minutes into the game, and it looks like we might be right. 6 to 10, I believe, is what we chose for the kill values at 10 minutes into the game, and it's looking pretty good at this point.
Oh yeah, predictions are safe.
Yes, always. And there's that Vendetta. This is exactly what you were talking about, although they're not really setting anything up top lane.
No Infest Bomb. Just a Phoenix sitting here who's not going to hit level 6 off this creep wave. Pings come out. Execration.
Yeah, that was a Phantom Lancer ping. I think he knew that. He's not mid anymore, and he's like, well, he's probably Vendetta.
Sneak.
He tries smoke. Oh, it's going to pop. Yeah, Chemo's just popped out. They dropped the sentry, but I mean, Old 11's not going to make the mistake of walking too far up.
But two other heroes still smoked here. The Vendetta's about to end.
They say
looks like this is just going to amount to nothing.
Yeah, Nando said screw it, and let me just farm and get my battle fear, which is what he's going for. He has the perseverance, unless he wants to hit through, it's highly unlikely.
So you see Lifesteal getting a Midas, your Execration. You say, great, we're going to get a battle fear on Juggernaut. This is a game where Nando will look to farm a bit more. Gonna play a little greedier, and with a PL and a Juggernaut with a Battle Fury, perhaps that slightly tilts it their way, though Mirana be working towards the Ags, I do imagine. Still, a very farmy second game here. Ehome wanting to play a bit safer, a bit more reserved. They're gonna move under cover of smoke. They head towards top, still no Infest Bombs. Steeler again, very focused on the economy game.
They need a sentry down. Do they have one in lane? Do they have one on them? They only have Dust right now. I believe they have one sentry on Tams. He drops it, but it's in lane. First contact. Who's it going to be made by? They're still wrapping around. Here comes Old 11. Then the Moonlight Shadow and Execration. They should know that this is happening.
But they get the stun off.
Sunray will come through Omni Slash, but now they have vision finally and Lonham. Sunray, can it keep him alive? No.
Phoenix has the egg though, they're gonna dive a bit deeper, the glimpse back, trying to remove one here from the fight, they will get rid of the Disruptor, so it ends up being a 1-for-1. Disruptor for an Ogre Magi, still the egg reserve.
Ando wants to go back in, great stun on his 2, there's the Blade Fury, silence up into Old 11 as well, he's low, big charge with a Spike Carapace, it'll keep him alive.
The bait, can they turn it, the stun on cooldown. Does can just walk away, has the healing ward going, Old 11 unable to snipe it here, but he has the impale, they have the fall down, the kick comes through, he hits one, almost two, Old 11, one more, he's over to that here as well!
Wow!
That should not happen, Mott.
No way, that was a sick kick one way or the other, but
at mid lane, they're diving on Old Chicken, they have the glimpse soon,
3 seconds.
In the trees!
They have vision.
Oh, they could have gone for that, but they're a little worried about TPs.
I thought they should have gone for that with 2 heroes dead. I think he might have screwed up. I think he might have glimpsed no. I guess he just didn't go for it.
And Nando almost has a Battle Fury already. It's a Midas Lifestealer who can't even keep up in farm with the Juggernaut who's yet to get his Battle Fury. That is not a good sign. And the Blink Dagger now comes out. Sure, it's a relatively even game when it comes to farm, but you have to keep in mind that Ehome have gone for a Midas and Lifestealer. This is a hero who normally is looking for kills around this point, looking to shut down the enemy carry. He's just trading farm. Mirana Ags, that's the hero that can take over as far as net worth goes. Not snowballing, not really any pickoffs. Ehome need to get something out of this Nyx. They are going to look for it now, but do they have an opening?
Here comes Lonham. They're going to find him here. They drop the ward down. They should see this rolling boulder. It's just going to miss, but the boulder smash does not.
And again, it's on 2, and the last one to follow it up. They're going to feed the old land.
He will end up falling here with, of course, that kinetic field. He does get over the Fire Blast before his death, just trying to say,
The issue with running this, like, pick-off style against Execration, they are a swarm. They will send all 5 every single time if they have towers in range. So if you're going to go for pickoffs, you need to be prepared for 5 to show up, or just have clearly superior team fight with less. But here's the move mid. Swoop in from the Phoenix. They can drop an egg if they want to go the stun.
Oh, Nando onto 2. Ahmed in trouble. They're about to both fall. He's actually able to doppelganger away the Sunray, and the arrow will hit. He's done. Bit too far. Execration lose 2, and they're not done yet. Ehome looking for more. Old 11 with another impale ready. Kibo will try to dodge it. He does nicely.
He can glimpse Old 11 back potentially.
No.
He's going to pull him in.
Firefly, Spike Carapace is up. It's dangerous. R opens wounds, and they also have the stun as well with the Fire Blast coming out. He saw it, but come back here. Come back here. Sure.
I will happily collect this still.
That's just...
They didn't have Static Storm. That's the big thing Execration needs. They're lacking that key support ultimate. Costing them pretty heavily, and an awkward time to force a fight mid is the Jug Battle Fury was almost complete, Chemo was almost level 6, Peel almost had Boots of Travel. A lot of almosts there for Execration. It was not the ideal time to engage. The other thing is they have to be more disciplined with sentry wards, constantly have them ready, and also when it's nighttime, you need to have an observer ward paired with it, so you have just the general vision to make that true sight count. So I think not respecting the Nyx here, or the Moonlight Shadow.
I mean, like, it's two of those, and Old 11, they don't have the vision to see him, so I think Nando might just be dead here. They're going to just swarm on in, and they're going to go for the impale. Oh, boom, the arrow comes through, and he's done. The static storm, though, and they might turn this around. Lasso's up to get Old 11 as well, and can they break down Ice, get a sense of armlet? He's very tanky. He's too dead for the side of Execration.
He is going to melt down. Now PL arrives. Can look for a bit more. Old Chicken's also low. Has the leap available. They're going to surge in for this. Can RR flame break one back? Fenrir on the run, but has another swoop out. Old Chicken looks to turn, but now he's in trouble with no leap available. Oh, the Sunray. It's enough to save him on for now.
4 sticky napalm stacks. There's still more. Good boulder smash to find the kill. Fenrir.
Skirmishing from Execration. They're going to look for Fenrir. I think it's land. 6 napalm stacks. A flame break is really going to hurt, but he's out of mana with that last napalm.
And he can't go in with the urn still constantly pressuring him and doing a lot of damage, and that's why RR couldn't find Fenrir there. But overall,
our predictions are looking good, Mott. 20 kills at 15 minutes.
3 for 2 trade after it's all said and done, as the fight recap shows at 1,500 gold exchange.
That's the entire advantage Ehome just built up. Completely wiped away, but they're looking for a pick top. Abed, he got greedy with the TP, and now he looks like he's gonna pay.
Yeah, one more right click, there it is, Old 11 will find himself the kill.
I mean, both teams, let's be honest, a little sloppy here, forcing the fights. It's kind of a chaotic draft by nature, so you expect to see a lot of these kills happening, but some very avoidable ones. Ehome overplaying their hand mid, PL being greedy top. Dust settles, still very even.
This is a close one, and another impale is going to find Timo, but he just comes back first. The arrow, it does hit, though, and the sun ran top. Timo will feed away a kill, looking for that rune. And they have a ward over at the Ancient stack, and now Nando needs to be very careful with how he proceeds.
Oh, if they can steal these Ancients, that would be absolutely massive. That's a lot of gold.
And you can't fight because 2 of your heroes are dead, and yeah, that's just an Ancient stack that's gone. It's gone to the way of Old Chicken, and that'll build into his Aghanim Scepter even further. All it needs is that Blade of Alacrity right now.
The one worry here for Execration is PL starting to fall behind a bit on farm, and if you fall behind, Maelstrom, the choice for Ice, eventually a Mjolnir. That combined with the Mirana eggs can clear those illusions out. It's like nobody's business. So I think PL needs to not die here for Execration, more so than other games. The itemization will allow Ehome to deal with the illusion swarm late game, and Jug is not a hero that will solo carry. This is a hero that needs a multi-core draft to work. Execration been quiet lately. It's RR, the tempo setter. Hasn't been finding pickoffs with the lasso. The supports have been getting caught in RR. He will look to break a smoke here. The Moonlight Shadow comes a bit late. He blinks out.
Yes.
They see it coming, and now they can re-engage.
Lasso, they get it. There's the play carefree. Zombie Slash going very far. Static Storm catches on it too, but they walk out. But still, that Blade Fury magnetized through some serious damage.
And they're going to find Old 11. They're looking for Lanham as well. It was the Bat Riders for the rescue. Nando will have to face this Old Lanham like they died on the other side of the fight. Ice, runs in. 1v4. Well, actually, it's Old Chicken, but Old Chicken is not wrong for this world. He will drop as well. And now Abed turns. Can this Life Stealer find a kill?
No rage, no infest for at least 5 seconds.
No TP either, Mod.
The damage is so tanky. I just don't know they have enough right now to deal with this hero.
They can fight him. He's eventually going to die.
Look at that micro coming out from Abed. Now this is going to be the glimpse back as well, and he'll have to arm the toggle.
And he fights this. Ogre McGee is coming back in, but the micro god gets out microed. Abed gets the job done. That was 100% the Bat Rider. The thing that cost them on, they didn't Moonlight Shadow before they ran up the hill. Yeah, he broke the smoke, but if they're under cover of Moonlight Shadow, RR would not have known. There were no sentries in the area. All these sentries just got planted after the fight broke out, so that was a big blunder by Ehome.
Yeah, it's just, again, you talked about in the first game mistakes that they shouldn't be making, and I bet he's about to walk into a central with Old 11. They see him there. He's going to bait this. He's got his Spirit Lance ready to go with the spike carefree, force forward. They have no lasso with the Firefly. Oh, they do have it. Not to mention they have a gem on top.
Oh, but they push him away. They need that vision. Oh, no, sorry, they do have a gem, like you said. So Old 11 will end up going down.
Yep. And
this is not the Ehome that I was expecting. Yes, Execration are doing a good job at forcing mistakes. They are playing well as a team, but Ehome, it doesn't feel like they're united right now. There's a lot of individual players going for solo pickoffs, trying to make plays on their own. Where's the unity?
Exactly. I mean, they are going for like ganks together, and they're going for like these 5-minute smokes in Moonlight Shadow, but they're not really connecting. It's not really working out for them, and so they're capitalizing. Execration are capitalizing, and they're going to try to push the tower because of that. They're getting a couple more items. Diffusal Blade, which is a great item, coming out for the PL. That's where your damage really starts to pump up, and Nando with his Battle Tree and his Yasha, not to mention how many slashes already. This should be enough for them to take the tower, as they do have the Mirana Ags, though, coming out finally for Old Chicken, and they really need it.
I really like the gem pickup, though. This is going to be huge as Ehome looks to run in. They could be running into a trap. Stun up PL to start.
But he's going to get arrowed up. He's in trouble, and he is going to fall. It's time to back up for Execration. They'll try to keep you away, but
the slave break comes through. It allows them to get some TPs out, but not enough. RR could be the third man down. Old 11, though, dropping low here. The blink out from Bat. He looks for the TP, but he's not in the trees. And that's the gem as well. Pretty disastrous push there. They had gem, but
he wasn't in position to find those heroes. He was sitting back, waiting for a blink lasso target, and Abed's here at the front of the tower, and he just gets caught, and they don't have any way of saving him. It's just, if you're going to try to make a play like that, I feel like you need to be closer to your teammates to keep your allies alive with the gem and vision. It's a big mess up for Execration, and allows the Nyx Assassin to pick up a blink dagger, and he'll carry the gem around for the time being. Schemo is lamenting that gem's purchase after it goes down.
You've talked about it, Maud. It's Moonlight Shadow and Nyx. You need to have a gem. Sentries are a big tax on the supports. They had to drop 4 bottom earlier. That's 400 gold. It's a big investment. And it only won them one fight as Ehome will start massacring those wards. They take over this Radiant jungle for now, but Execration will look to strike back. But you see, every time they creep forward a little bit, drop a sentry. They're running out of them, and they will need to make sure they have them up for this upcoming potential Roche fight, as the scan does connect. Be a big opening, but Ehome have the high ground.
They're looking for the Roche. They thought that's where they were with the scan, but it's unfortunately not true. Abed actually went on illusion. So this Smoke of Deceit is going to be dodged swiftly by Ehome. They'll stay together, and this time they're going to look to counter-engage, as they have now the Infest Pop.
No Blade Fury, he's dead.
Right, Lord, Nando blown up.
Ehome just winning the pick-off game right now.
Yeah.
And they'll move on the back of that kill towards the mid-tower. There is a buyback available on Jug, but the Slice Stars is very tanky, so I'm not sure that you can really go on Ehome when it's a 5v5 scenario like this.
I don't think so. Especially with the newly minted axe for Old Chicken, I just think there's too much damage coming out for Ehome right now with the Lifestealer. So he's got a Maelstrom looking for a Mjolnir. Boulder Smash will be dodged and used Rage by Ice. Flip will go. Sun Rays trying to clear out the creep wave. It'll do a nice job. RR has his Firefly looking for a dust, but instead Blink Blast for Old Chicken brought back.
Oh, the Static Storm!
Can they get it done? Magnetize on top. Ice burning down, and he will end up going.
And they're looking for more. They're going to dive on the Fenrir. The Lance finishes him. It's 3 down.
They get the gem back.
They get the gem back. What is happening in this game? Incredible Static Storm. Kimo, the veteran captain. This guy has been around for years in the Filipino scene. Has never quite made it at TI, but that was so far the play of the game, and they might find more. They've scouted out Old 11. The stolen gem turned against them. Can they follow this up? There's going to be a blink. And they can chase.
They have plenty of sticky napalm stacks. And the Bloodlust will go, though, and I don't know if they want to push any further.
Oh, these heroes are respawning. You cannot be diving that.
Yeah,
I'm not sure you can even Roche here, Mod. It's a risky one.
No, Abed. He's got to wait for another 3 seconds. No, he didn't. Just kidding. All right, I was a little concerned that he couldn't get down, but
they have the gem advantage here, but they are fighting in the pit against the Phoenix and a Mirana Eggs. This is extremely risky for Execration. I don't think this is a Roche you go for. It seems they have realized if they're going to go for it, they'll at least need to reset, find a pick first. But, I mean, the kills are great. Getting the gem back, though, that is a real trump card there for Execration. Here's the Moonlight Shadow.
And they're about to come in and engage head on. Old 11.
Oh, the blink's on, so he jukes up into the trees. The stun comes through.
Tail on the tree. Now Nando will be the second to fall again. Abed has the doppelganger to the low ground to stay alive, but only for a moment as Old Chicken leaps and is looking for more right clicks, and Abed will end up falling. No, the high ground miss. Can he get two? No, he cannot. It's a double kill for Old Chicken and Ehome. And they'll take Roach with that fight going their way.
They had a ward, I think, right near the pit, and it may have seen the Bat Rider like flying around near this observer ward. I'm not sure, but it looked like he expected the bat jump him right around that moment and thought he was in the trees. So Ehome end up once again turning the game back around. Look at this graph, it's up and down all around.
I've seen a lot of graphs that have been hills and valleys, but this one is kind of nuts.
We haven't seen the last of him.
This is looking like a very, very dangerous roller coaster of a game. And for Ehome, it truly is a loss here. They're down to the lower bracket against a desperate team, and even should you win that match, you've got to win another to advance. So you want to be in that winner bracket finals. You want to have 2 shots at advancing, not just playing your hearts out for the one.
And
they are in the driver's seat now.
I mean, they have the advantage. R is going to find a
Is the gem going back the other way again? They want it bad.
You can't bring him down.
They have dust.
Ground.
They have dust. They could chase, but Ehome are there.
This is a dangerous fight. Again, they have the Aegis up ready to go. It is on Old Chicken.
If they had one carry there, that is an instant gem reclaim. And the game swings back around again.
Old Chicken being very aggressive, but he knows he has the age to work with, not to mention a blink dagger and leads to get out of a bad situation. And Nando just knows that he's been stuck at this Battle Fury Yasha for a long time, so he finally will be able to purchase up his ultimate orb and get the Manta style. And Abed similarly has been stuck on Bot's Diffusal for a couple of minutes as well, while Ehome have started to progress further with this Lifestealer.
Not sure about the Manta this game. There's so much AoE with the Mjolnir and the Mirana Ags, not to mention like things like the Phoenix Ultimate and the Nyx Stun. There's no big silences to remove really.
I think it's mostly for open wounds, I believe.
That's true. It's decent versus open wounds. I feel like a BKB is eventually a necessity here for Jug hitting for Flicking, but he gets caught out again. Manta
back into a BKB to keep time like this. Blade Fury will go, and then he dies right after.
Yeah, Jug just struggles against Lifestealer because of the tankiness of the Lifestealer. You build the armlet, you've got a lot of plus armor to do with Omni Slash, and your right click really does not care about Blade Fury.
No buyback. It looks like they were deciding to try to defend this. They were setting up the Bat Rider here to position himself for a good blink lasso, but again, without the Juggernaut, you can't fight 4 versus 5, and Abed will just... I think he's needed to do more of this throughout the game, and I like it now. Split pushing down bottom. No tier 1 to take, and he's pretty far away from that tier 2, but he's trying to do all that he can at this point.
And we have our first decisive lead of the game, Mott. It has been neck and neck the whole way, but Ehome, in one fell swoop, they get the next, perhaps the decisive punch. On the back of that, they get the gem back. They deward the enemy jungle. They take the Roshan. They systematically wipe out all Execration tier 2s left standing. They occupy the jungle now. Execration are bottled up.
Yeah, and even with the Lifestealer staying inside of Old 11 for a time, it just doesn't really matter. I mean, he already does enough damage. He has in the older, he has an Ogre Club for who knows what. SNY might be able to play for that, but here we go. Execration will go for a smoke LD, and we'll see what they can find here. There's a Moonlight Shadow coming out from Ehome. Is there any detection coming out from Execration?
I think they're going to miss each other, and missing each other is just fine for Ehome. They have Aegis. They would love to fight with it, but Execration, who lack the map control, lack the towers, as Radiant will struggle to contest the next Rosh. As I say that, though, they circle back around on the mid lane. They are going to reveal their Juggernaut. Yeah. Nando, he wants to back away, but the rest of the team also scrambling. Here's the jump.
Oh, they missed the stun. Old 11 was not on point there. Still, might just back up for Execration, but there's the Omni Slash. Great Yule Scepter might keep him alive. Static Storm on his 2, Supernova on top, and it looks like Ehome are turning this around.
Ehome still tiny pickoffs here. 2 supports brought down, but can they get more? Here comes the Phoenix Egg. Old Chicken low, but on the high ground, Juggernaut lurks. He's going to spin. They charge in on that Mirana, but she still has Aegis. They're committing too much for a hero that's going to have a second life. They might bring him down, but at what cost? I don't think it's worth it. Ice still struggling to lock onto a target, though. Nice chip damage here as Ehome yet to lose a core hero, but Jug might be first. Entire courier down. A good kickoff there. The Jug will fall. The Bat may well be next. No, RR does escape. Who got the gem? That's the real question. It's Abed who salvages it. I actually think that's not too bad for Execration.
Yeah.
All things considered, Aegis
gem
will
is
now
huge.
expire. The gem is worth, to me, like at least a core death at this point.
It's just the Jug needs to really stop dying. He's now 6 deaths, and we were talking about the PL going down. He's got 5. So it's both of these heroes. Luckily, the PL did survive in that last engagement, and he is split pushing, but here come Ehome with all the Aegis gone now, but
they can chip with Ice here. Can rage, right-click for a couple of seconds. Just has to be worried about the lasso. It is on cooldown, so he won't back away.
Net worth lead is now up to 10,000 for Ehome, but we've seen a game where Ehome have had a 10,000 net worth advantage before, and it's dwindled just by making mistakes. In the Moonlight Shadow, they'll look to try to
re-engage here.
Yeah, it's
RR has to be careful. Are they going to lose this gem again? It's been passed around like a hot potato.
Back up, my friend. I think it's time to stay in your base. And Ehome, it looks like they won't find anything out of this. It's old 11 with the Blanket and Tail combination. They will at least give Execration a little bit of breathing here.
Just breathe.
I have to take a breath.
And Execration, I think they need to as well. This is the game where you want to close out Ehome. You do not want to go against this veteran squad into a game 3 having lost the previous match.
Exactly.
It doesn't look good, but they have shown the ability to come back already in this series. I do worry a bit about the matchup though. They don't have that heavy physical damage burst, the Venge, the Slardar, and they don't. And to me, the Ehome draft scale is a bit better. It's dual 4, Lifestealer, as well as Mirana, both heroes that can dish out heavy DPS even late into the game. Still think Execration can take it. What they really need, I think more than anything here, is the BKB on RR. You get the BKB, you can reliably initiate. The Nyx can't carapace you. You won't instantly lose the gem. Lifestealer can't just focus you down with open wounds. But speaking of Lifestealer, Mod, he has gone for a BKB.
Yeah.
This is now a 22-second magic immune beast of a hero.
It's kind of nuts, honestly.
You rage, you BKB.
Exactly.
And as soon as the BKB ends, you have a fresh rage available. Only the first time, though. After that, the BKB charge won't be quite long enough, but it's still a very small window to stun him.
It's very good against the Diffusal Blade of the PL. I mean, it's going to stop. I mean, a lot of this magic damage is really the Static Storm of the Disruptor, so they kind of have to hope the Omni Slash is good. And even then, I don't know if that's enough to bring down the Lifestealer with plenty of armor as well as HP. And they're going to go for another smoke for Ehome. They're going to try to find a pickoff here, but I don't know if I think they see that Nando is top. I don't know if they see everybody else. It looks like they're heading straight up there, waiting to try to get somebody out of position. I mean, they see this Jug, and after the number of times he's died, you pretty much know the whole team, not visible elsewhere, is likely lurking behind him, so it's old 11 leading the charge, as he so often has. Will RR see this one coming? He's got to get the jump. He's like, Carefase will go the Firefly,
and he does.
He won't get the jump. In fact, he gets jumped instead. Emo and Abed trying to keep you out, and it looks like they will make it away in time. So,
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And for those just joining us here, we find Execration now on match point, looking to close out Ehome. It was a back and forth slugfest of a game. If you look at the gold graph, dead even, team wipe, or virtual team wipe, back and forth from both teams. The key to this game has been the gem getting passed around. Ehome reclaim it now, and up against Moonlight Shadow, up against the Nyx, you really need that true sight to deal with the Gag. So now Ehome in control, but looking to force that deciding game 3. Execration came back from a similar deficit last time, Maud. Can they do it again?
I just realized that gem was lost. I'm not sure if you talked about that already. The gem that they purchased up for Execration by Chemo was done at about 10 minutes or maybe 15 minutes into this game, and it's passed hands about 6 to 7 times throughout this entire matchup. So it's kind of nuts how many times this gem has gone through different hands, but it is back in the hands of old 11, who will take it and work with it, trying to gain more map control yet again. And again, it's just Execration, they can barely get outside of the base, and if they do, they have to play together because they've been hit. The pickoffs have been so fast and furious from Ehome that it's tough to deal with, especially on the cores. In fact, I think the supports have lesser depths than you see 5 depths for Abed, and then you have 6 for Nando. So
the carries are dying a lot, but I think the bigger issue here is we see Old Chicken moving in the bottom lane, looking for a quick snipe on Chemo. Goodbye, Disruptor, he says, but the Glimmer Cape saves the day. Great way to deal with that Mirana, but meanwhile, top lane, Lana marching in, Tim's is gonna run. Nando's going to TP with the Blade Fury, and they will catch, it looks like just the Solitary or Spirit.
Ahmed is going to get caught out as well. Teammate was not able to extreme. He has nothing left now, and it has to go down. There's nothing he can do. It's 2 dead. It would have been fine if maybe you just lose the Earth Spirit, but again, another carry dies for Execration.
Ehome just snowballing this one, and it's all about map control right now. On that ward top, it saw all the heroes walking up into the lane. They knew that the Disruptor was backing off. Sure, they don't find the kill, but they know he's not there, and he's a key part of their team fight. On the back of that, Ehome muscle up. They look for their first lane of Rex here.
They're going to have to force out the buyback for the PL, and again, we talked about how much he's been struggling to farm.
With a buyback here is really going to hurt you.
He's looking for that Scotty, and that'll keep him alive a bit longer in some of these engagements, but 30 seconds they have clip, but that won't last nearly long enough. He will end up having to buy back, I think. Static Storm, unless they can find a good fight.
He's already going to isolate Lanham, and they move in, but again, the Yule Scepter just completely countering the Omni/Nando. He's in too far. He's got a Blade Fury away. Only the Lifestealer forced to really commit anything there, and Vestson says, bye guys, but they're going to come right back. They know that with Static Storm on cooldown, Execration's team fight, a bit underwhelming. Though as I say that, I jinxed the push and Ehome, Moonlight Shadow back.
I mean, that was the mistake Ehome had last game. They forced out the buyback and they stayed a bit too long at that bottom lane. But now this time, I think
this time they actually could have pushed because there's no Omni, there's no Static Storm, and Execration really aren't that scary without a good team fights that they won have always been on the back of a good Static Storm. So barring that, I think Ehome could have pushed this time, but this to me is more just showing like mentally, they're like, yeah, let's play ultra safe now.
This feels like an all-in play from Execration. Lasho will find Ice. Do they have the damage?
That Static Storm unfortunately don't have it. He's got a BKB anyway, so he's just gonna turn and maul Tim. That was not the hero to start the fight on. They immediately scramble back. Tim so low. Will he make it out? Not gonna happen. He's down for the count. RR trying to TP out, and elsewhere they're beating down Chemo. The Disruptor will fall as well.
It's just another 2 kills going the way of Ehome. They continue to garner this advantage, now gaining a Lincoln Sphere. And you talked about Yule. They have 3 of them LD on Ehome's side.
They know that Disruptor is the key, and between the Yule Scepters here as well as the BKB on Lifestealer, you're just not killing anyone with that Static Storm unless you horribly overplay your hand. This is an easy roach for Ehome. This is the veteran squad that we were expecting. They've taken a while to show up, but they are completely now in control of Game 2.
Yeah, they have a 15,000 net worth advantage after, again, you see these bumps on this net worth graph, and it looks like nothing right now, but at the time, it was just back and forth like crazy. Nobody really gaining any sort of advantage, just a lot of different fights. One team will win one fight, another takes the second, but for now, Execration, it just feels like they just don't have the answers to a lot of, the damage, the survivability, the mobility, and everything that Ehome has in their bag of tricks. And
Old Chicken creeping in. Again, these dire wards, scouting out hero rotations. They saw one run up into the trees. RR frantically scrambling back, but they got him.
The gem. He's going to lose another one.
I'll take that as well, says Old 11. We're going to see the double baller gem. Lanham wants to grab it, but his pudgy ogre body can barely wind its way through the trees. Eventually, will manage to grab it. That is a devastating loss.
Yeah, he just bought it. It's still on cooldown for
even with the gem, they still struggle to take fights. They still struggle to leave their base. With no gem, they ain't going anywhere. And I don't think they actually have late game. Like PL Juggernaut, you look at, MVP Phoenix of the Shanghai Major when they were dominant. Yes, it's a very scary draft that can win the lane and transition great in the late game, but Ehome have all the solutions for PL, and Jug just cannot burst this Lifestealer down.
No, Ice has got no ages, but the BKB will be popped. The clip will go. That might be a little bit early. Premature BKB pop from Ice. Can they find something here? Static Storm will go. The rage is up, and the Omni Slash
is good, but it doesn't look like it's enough. Nando's got to back away. They can re-engage both ultimates down again, and this time Ehome, they almost certainly stick around here. What they need is a creep wave. So a lonely melee creep trying to lead the charge, but that is something Execration can deal with. So it's taken them a while. Kill that creep already. A new wave is coming.
Here we go. The air's going to come through. Oh my, the Yule Scepter on the bat as he plays in. The forward staff to try to get out, but it won't be successful. The appeal to go further Timo, as well as his play will fall next. 2 dead LD. It might be more.
Ice though is almost out of mana here. It means he might not have the next rage up. Old Chicken in deep as well. Will Ehome overextend and overplay their hand? They're continuing to chase, looking for more. They have brought down 2. Right now it's the 5v3 power play. Nando's going to explode. Ehome bursts him with ease. They play it right, and they will now rotate onto the mid lane, looking for a second lane of Rex, or at least a second melee. With that, almost certainly the game. This one was a back and forth slugfest early, but losing that gem and then losing the Roche meant Ehome were going to keep it and keep map control for a long time, and from there, it was Ehome's game to lose.
Yeah, this draft just feels more put together for Ehome than the last one. The big issue with the last game is the Warlock ulti, just the cooldown's too long. In this game, Ice, and Old Chicken, they just kind of run in, they do their damage, and they have the back for the rest of the supports. Good static storm onto 2, but the BKB will go for Ice. Your table literally melts the damage.
The itemization of Ehome is, along with that, getting the gem back is really the key. As they have all the answers for static storm, the Bat Rider initiation isn't that scary when you don't have the follow burst, and with that Execration unable to close out the juggernauts from China here at Ehome, we'll have to fight it out in game 3. With just one fight going their way, a little bit more careful play, I think this game could have easily snowballed the other direction more, but it just didn't happen that way.
Yeah, I mean, it was close. It looked like at the beginning of the game, the laning phase was very, very strong for Execration. They had some really good movements. They played well, and
Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team's turn to pick. Seconds remaining. Radiant team's turn to pick.
All right, everybody, welcome back for game number 3. Complexity up against Escape, as we will find out who will be the team to go through into the winner's bracket of the wild card with the conclusion of this game.
10 seconds remaining.
They had a bit of a rough run in game number 2. Escape found themselves a really nice draft, really great roaming Mirana Yapsaw. And they seem to be starting off again with the Mirana first phase. And we changed up the bands a little bit, with Lone Druid now being included instead of the Invoker.
I like Complexity's twist to this draft. They also take the Juggernaut in the first phase. Juggernaut, very good versus the Bat Rider, and clearly a very important tool for Escape. You're also limiting the amount of heroes that Quakeman can play. Juggernaut's also very good versus when you want to push a high ground versus a Tinker.
5 seconds
so
remaining.
They ban out Lone Druid, they take Juggernaut for themselves. They already have like a pretty okay lineup versus a Tinker, and then now all you have to worry about is Invoker, which you could easily ban in second phase. And Escape respond like, okay, well, we don't have that many other cores that are great for Bat Rider. We'll take Slug in the first phase.
I'll say goodbye to your Tinker as well, so say goodbye to Quoifer's hero. Are we going to end up back in that position again too, where Quoifer, like, you just sit there going, well, if Invoker and Tinker both get banned out?
If they do, then what will they play? That is the question, and I will take a look at other heroes that Quoifer has gone to. I do not think that they will have Queen of Pain on their minds after what happened, but we do see Timbersaw as a hero that he has played that been pretty successful for him, but this is also another option, but there's just not really too much on the tape for Escape.
Well, there goes the Invoker, so we will be pushed into that position. Syndrome can cross that bridge when he comes to it.
I don't think we want Timber here, though. When they picked him Timber, that was before the few Timber nerfs that we
10
saw in the
seconds
6.88B patch. Just a little bit of a strength nerf. And
5 seconds
Unless you
remaining.
feel like you're going to run a melee in the mid for complexity.
you could give him Mirana, though. What if they just give him Mirana?
Reserve
You can do
time.
that, but then you definitely want to have like a very solid support for Syndra and like something like actually bringing back the Bane or having an initiator. That
Oracle, man.
we put him in the list every time.
Good. When Bad Rider's first phase, every time I think Oracle was always a worthy consideration.
But they may still go towards someone like a Dazzle, so when Slug pounces in, you've got that quick burst damage from the Shadow Wave.
Also, the armor's very good versus Juggernaut. He's not my supportive choice over the Bad Rider, just because the Grave Heroes generally just die, especially if it's a Mirana, but maybe with a Sarkit, could be a little bit better justified. And we see the Disruptor ban. The Disruptor very good versus Sarkit, also pretty good versus Shallow Grave, so that makes you think they might pick it a little bit more.
We still have to keep Nyx in mind too. Like that Nyx was like so effective against Swindles, and then the combination he got with the Mirana was like that was brutal. Like there was a reason why Complexity were fearful to move anywhere on their map.
But it's second relative to Quake. That's the thing. They focus on Quake first, and then you don't have enough band for Nyx test, and
5 seconds
that's
remaining.
kind of what happens. But I do agree with your mentality that Quake is a much bigger problem.
You're using up
the
your
optimal
reserve
because
time.
Kazu plays a lot of different.
The panel were calling him a tank before. Like you just gotta start building up a little bit of momentum, and then all of a sudden you just cannot stop Koipa unless you can take off his tracks.
So let's see. Syndra and Hero, I think now would be appropriate. Dazzle, I don't like Winter Wyvern here at all. Vengeful Spirit, also pretty good. And if he can't play Oracle to the highest potential, then I think Vengeful Spirit's a very good consideration. Other heroes that we see a lot are SD.
Yep, Shadow Demon. I really thought SD was going to be picked up a hell of a lot more in the game so far, but right now, I know we're really like 2 series in.
Dire team's
And
turn
this
to
guy will get to appear again. He was actually appearing in the Ehome game.
There's been a lot of counter rumors. I think Ogre is one of those like counter rumors, like, okay, Earth Spirit, what are you gonna do to me? Like normally Earth Spirit, you see like an AA, you're like, oh, run away, don't shatter me, please.
10
But Ogre's
seconds
like, you laugh it off.
Yeah. I'm a little
5 seconds
concerned though because
remaining.
Okabajai isn't a guaranteed setup for the Mirana, but Escape also proved during the last game they
Radiant
don't always
team's turn
want
to
that.
pick.
Like they just rely on Yapsol to get good prediction, or Mirana is going to be a core anyway.
Or just take it away from Complexity. Because I think Complexity play, like, it's much more crucial to their lineup than Escape.
The Dazzle picked up from Complexity, so
10 seconds remaining.
more survivability kicking in. A lot of heal combining the Juggernaut and the Dazzle
5
together.
seconds
It's like
remaining.
Escape's lineup in game number 1.
Yeah, this is pretty much it. The only thing we're missing right now is a
Reserve
Lone
time.
Druid. Oh, you mean the one from 1? Oh,
They just had the ES and Matt, I believe. Anyways, let's see. I still think Ogre is Yap's worst hero. He plays more the roamer. The Cinnamon plays the stable, steady support.
Dire team.
oh, and we get Kazu's Beastmaster. The question is just where the Mirana ends up, because if the Mirana ends up being a
Oh yeah, that's true.
a support, then it should be Syndra on the Ogre.
But we don't have that many Quake heroes left, which is why I think it might be Quake's. But we
10
haven't
seconds
seen him
remaining.
play Mirana.
And again, like with Complexity's draft, they
5
leave them
seconds remaining.
completely unknown to the end when it's Escape who have to pick their 5th hero first.
Reserve time.
So again, you're blind picking into the mid lane of Koipa.
Alk. I think I like Alk a lot for Escape.
How could be difficult to shut down for Complexity? Because like, what are you gonna do? I mean,
You can't. That's the thing.
but you could potentially roam and gank him early on with
Now
the Earth
with an
Spirit.
Ogre.
Yeah, good point.
Ogre babysit is good.
And everyone will take an axe upgrade from that Alchemist.
Maybe that's why they picked Ogre. Want to throw some 4x. 4x, 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 4x.
Yeah, that's a wonderful
Oh,
brand.
they
Yeah, there it goes.
Okay.
There it goes.
So what's left for Quakefa?
It's like racking the bottom of the pool.
Dang.
He could still play the Mirana though.
10
And we just get
seconds
ourselves another hero up for Yapsol. A good
remaining.
roamer.
5 seconds
Just
remaining.
doesn't. I don't know. I don't know if that's...
You want something more, right?
Ooh, Huskar
Radiant
man.
team's
That
turn to
is...
pick.
They're covering their bases. But sooner or later, you know, it's always that brood effect, too. It's like, oh, you forgot about it, and now we're going to bring it back and make it lurk in the back of your mind.
Complexity. Pick a brood up against an ogre. You'll have a great time.
10 seconds remaining.
Actually, escape.
Or either looking at Yapko's
5
hero or
seconds remaining.
Koiko's hero seems to be more likely to be Koiko's hero, but who knows what
Reserve
Cinderin
time.
has up his sleeve.
It's like, do you want to go back down to the Queen of Pain again? You played before.
I think they need more instant disable for Juggernaut, though. I guess that's not really their role that they're looking for.
Could they just try and survive through it? Like, what if you get something more like, I don't want to say Death Prophet, but...
Lion,
10 seconds remaining.
Lion's pretty safe, stable, very low cast point,
5
good setup
seconds remaining.
for the arrow.
I still... Okay, so they are actually going to do it. They're going to do the
Dire team's
point.
Dire team ban.
On to face the winner of our other companion series, Escape
Radiant
Gaming
team
versus
ban.
Complexity, also going to a Game 3. Who drops down to the lower bracket? The answers to these questions we will find out with the conclusion of this game. Bands
Radiant
underway,
team's turn to ban.
picks about to begin. Mont, exact same
team's turn to
bands
pick.
from both teams, and again Execration.
Radiant team's
With the
turn to
choice,
pick.
they go for second pick. This is very unorthodox. Perhaps threw Ehome off earlier in the series, but coming down the home stretch, have to wonder if it's going to work out here.
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, the choice of getting
10
the two
seconds
heroes
remaining.
instantly rather than just the one is really, it's kind of interesting. I mean, and this time they're going to go for the ogre.
Radiant
I mean,
team's
it
turn
means
to
that they miss out on things like the Mirana, for example, which they had in the first game, but unfortunately, the past game, of course, Ehome played that to a T, I think, and I don't know. It's an interesting choice for sure, but I'm not sure if it's going
10
to
seconds
be
remaining.
that big of a deal once the draft is done and we have all the picks in.
So they do
Dire
change it up a
team's turn
bit
to pick.
here, grabbing the ogre for themselves and then taking the Bat Rider once again. But they take that early. Ehome are
Radiant
going to
team
mix
ban.
it up now. They grab the Naga Siren. Song, a great way to set up Arrow, a great way to disable a Bat Rider initiation. And it's a hero that can counter Bat Rider, who's not a support. So you also go for Avenge or an Oracle,
10 seconds remaining.
even a Disruptor who can somewhat deal with the
Dire
Blink
team's turn to
initiation,
ban.
then it'd be a really tough bat game.
Yeah, I'm surprised they second pick it. I don't think it would have been.
Run as support, you can
5
completely ruin
seconds
your draft.
remaining.
So could be support Mirana, could be support Naga, both could be cores. It's really up in the air for
Reserve
Execration, and
time.
that's what I like about this Ehome draft heading into phase 2 is you don't really know what their game plan
And
is.
that's what they had going for them in the last draft too. If you remember, it was very open-ended. We didn't know where the next assassin was going. We didn't know where the Mirana was going in the last draft as well. Once we had to the fourth pick, and that's very strong. You have such a, it's just nice. It's a nice thing to have going for you during the draft. Going back to the Naga Siren support, I'm thinking, when's the last time we've seen a Naga Siren support? I can't remember off the top of my head.
I want to say I saw EGM run it like within the last couple months, but it's definitely
Dire
not.
team's turn to
Right.
ban.
It could certainly work. I mean, with
Radiant
Riptide,
team's
nice
turn to
Duke,
pick.
and
I mean, Ehome even banning Timbersaw, that's a great hero to clear out illusions. They also pick Mirana, which kind of block picks one of the heroes that's great against illusions. Something available though, Mott, is Terrorblade. Banned in phase 2 both of our previous games, once by
10
Ehome,
seconds
once by
remaining.
Execration. Do you go for it here?
5
I
seconds
think
remaining.
it was.
I feel like it's a trap because Mirana as a core is very good at dealing with the hero.
Reserve
Naga as a
time.
core can somewhat just counter the split push. There's still plenty of room here to counter pick it, so it's tempting for Execration, but I feel like Ehome is baiting it.
Yeah, I think so too. Because they banned it last game, right? Ehome banned the Terrorblade in the last game. So yeah, I think they are kind of baiting it. They feel confident enough with the heroes they have with the Mirana and the Naga Siren to be able to deal with the illusions.
So here's a support that can kill illusions. Mana Drain, Hex, Lion, pretty good against. Effectively, so.
Dying that can help you.
Get like an early blink on bat, Morphling gets some farm, or Lion gets a relatively fast level 6. They're in excellent shape. I do not think Ehome can deal with Execration having an even laning stage. To me, they have to win the lanes right now, and it will just be a matter of the matchup. So how do they lane this? Do they go like full aggressive Naga tri-lane a la Alliance? Do they run an Undying +1 in the off lane? Do they run the Naga mid? There's a lot of setups here. I think in general, the Morphling is the key hero you really want to be limiting early game because they lack tools to lock him down, but Ehome will now ban out the Tinker, someone who can quickly join fights, provide that extra bit of burst and pick off potential, and again, they don't have many stuns right now, Ehome.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem with the Undying pick. That's the issue. Yeah, sure, with the Death Lust, it slows a fair bit, but
5 seconds remaining.
it's just all about winning the lanes, like you mentioned. That is the key with the Undying pick.
Right, and I'm kind of concerned because even if they do like an aggressive duel or maybe an aggressive tri-lane, you're still going into not only a Morphling but an Ogre Magi and a Lion as well, which are they're pretty potent damage dealers and they can help the Morphling survive. Not to mention he can survive, but it's the Axe last pick. And that's where they're getting their lockdown from.
As well as another hero that can do really well in the lanes. Expect Morphling to be under heavy fire here.
This draft doesn't it look strange to you for Ehome's draft just looks strange. Like I'm sure it could work, but
this is very greedy by Execration.
Yeah.
Like, into a mid Alchemist. So you could either run Bat safe lane and try and dodge with the Morphling off lane, or you can run Bat off and just try and protect the Morph bottom. But I do not see Lion, Morphling, Ogre as a tri-lane doing anything against Ehome if Ehome want to go aggro or even dual lane they could cause problems. I'm worried about Execration's lanes, Mod. If they can somehow have a good laning stage, obviously they're in great shape. I'm not sure they can.
Yeah, that's the tough thing. With the Axe pickup, it makes this a lot scarier. Ehome is going to be running at you pretty heavily in the early game with at least 2 heroes, and then you have Ice to fall back on playing the Naga Siren, and what I imagine to be the safe lane. And the Morano played in the mid lane more than likely, but against an Alchemist, which is kind of an interesting matchup.
Yeah, Morano versus Alch should probably just be a farm fest. Very weak ganking supports here.
I don't know, man. It's really tough for me to. You're right. I think Execration have a greedy draft, and I would, even though Ehome have made their fair share of mistakes in this particular series, LD, I think I have to give the draft edge over to Ehome, even though it's a bit interesting to say the least. His Chemo and Old 11 will.
Oh come on, you're Ogre. You have 8 armor. What are you doing, Chemo?
You can
hit him.
You can man
hit him.
Oh, an 11 taunting him with dropping the observer wards down on the ground. But we have a moment to talk about predictions, LD, and what do we got here? Total number of player deaths at game's end.
Okay, so first question is, will it be a quick game? And then the second question is, how active of a game will it be? I think it will be a very split push ratty game.
Yes.
So I think kills will be relatively low, but it could be a long one. So let's go in the middle there. Let's go 26 to 40.
Okay. Player with the first triple kill. Axe, maybe? Because of dunks?
I think Axe is going to have a hard time running in with the number of stuns there are.
Dying.
I'm liking our Mirana here.
Okay.
I'm liking Old Chicken.
All right, we'll go with that. The teleport canceled by stun by 10 minutes.
Oh, come on, yes.
I think that has to be yes. Team who places the most observer wards by game's end, I'd say Ehome probably because of how well they played with Vision last game. I wouldn't be surprised if they could get some good Vision down. Agreed.
Let's go Ehome.
All right.
We're underway.
Here we go. It is going to be Ehome versus Execration, game number 3. And Execration, I mean, we talked about the first game and how impressive it was for them to take a game off of Ehome, but it's not about taking a game off. It's about finishing the series and winning.
So this is a good read by Execration. They recognize Ehome are looking to run an aggressive tri-lane. They're going to dodge. They're on the bat bottom. Ehome would crush an Execration tri-lane. So I like this adjustment by them. Now, can they kill an Axe? I would say, yes, they have a lot of nuke damage. Not at level 1, they'll at least need like a level 2, level 3 Morphling here. But I think Old 11 can just sit back and soak experience. I'm not so sure RR can. I think there's more kill potential here bottom for Ehome as they're going to start things off nice and early with the level 1 Mono League, and RR gets held in place.
He should be okay. Mana Leak is now gone. He's got 1 Fairy Fire, not to mention a salve, although the damage is significant. He has to salve up. And that's the danger of this lane, if they keep the tri-lane bottom. But the rotation mid, Chemo's coming through. Old Chicken, he's got no leap. He has arrow. He's level 2 now.
They don't have any damage on Abed, though, so yeah. He'll be okay. I like this play by Execration. While they could maybe kill the Axe, I think what they need more than anything is just to secure both of their cores farm out. Getting a reasonably timed Radiance will stall the game, will allow the rest of the team to scale, and just makes it annoying for Ehome. So ensuring both carries get farm,
boy,
probably the play.
No creep wave here. They're diving underneath the tower.
Coming, though. I think he might. Oh, looks like he's going
fire. Nah, no, you freeze didn't even easy in that situation. All right, first blood.
This is just a cheesy, dirty tri-lane. Thing is, Batrider didn't go for Firefly level 1. You don't really want to.
I don't know if this is the play.
He has Firefly. He will skill it. And with that, Ehome have to disengage.
That is still a very dangerous play. And again, now he's below half HP. He's going to have to use his Tango to regen back up. Ice was looking to run, and Chemo's finally rotated up, but now I don't know. this feels dangerous, and it feels like Ehome have the advantage in laning, at least down in the bottom lane.
Yeah, Ogre's very good against this type of tri-lane, though. There are a lot of AoE spread damage, and he's very tanky as an individual, so even if he dies, it probably means the Batrider lives a bit more, but it's not great as far as the bottom lane goes, Mod. The key is try not to lose your tower too early, because Alk really needs jungle control to be able to farm, stack up creeps. If you die, they will quickly just mow this tower down with the AoE spam they have. So even if you don't farm much, the Execration must limit the number of deaths here.
Top lane old 11, Nando's walking in, still level 2. A level 2 waveform would be a nice bit of damage to be able to bring him down, but for now it's bottom. For RR again, we'll get to Cade, 2 stacks on him. And,
this is such a frustrating lane.
He's got an arcane room, that's gross. Oh my god.
I mean, the good news is it's only a level 1 decay, so it's still a pretty low base cooldown, but yeah, it's the dream undying rune, I would say, at this stage of the game.
Yeah, he just runs in, and he's doing it again to Chemo, and now Chemo, who's an inherently tanky Ogre Magi, is starting to get
the windlace advantage? Actually, no, they both have it, but over with the lower base move speed, Lanham is going in.
He's got now 5 decay stacks. They're about to run out.
He doesn't actually have a stick here. Lanham may have overplayed his hand.
Oh, the mana leak, though, and I don't think they
have another ignite. Yeah. They're going to run into range of Ice. Rotation comes in from Tim's, though. This was unexpected, but it's not enough damage, Mark. There you go. They get the kill, but now Ice moving forward. Riptide is going to hurt Squishy supports. They turn back for Fenrir. They're going to let Ice have RR and instead look for the Fenrir secondary kill. Decent body blocking. Ice going deep in the bottom lane. He will find the second, but so too will Execration. So 2-2 the overall score.
Undying back. Old Lemon, there you go. And Tim's people are out of mana completely.
Oh, if they lose Tim's here, it hurts a bit.
They're going to dive right into the tower and Soul Rift will get the kill for him. And now they're just going to say, okay,
no, they're going on Ice. Come back here, Naga.
What a bloodbath. God.
The good news for Execration, though, Mod, is after all the musical lanes, they have 2 carries free farming here.
Yep.
Nando doing well in the Morph lane. Abed getting another bounty rune on the out.
Oh, that's beautiful for him. Top lane, they're going
just have to stem the bleeding.
Ooh, Nando takes a counter. He looks waveform, but it's not enough damage. It's only level 2 waveform, and Nando might have
needs the strength morph if he gets.
He's got no mana left. He's got 3 stick charges. He's blocked in now.
Oh, this is a costly death, but he does it for Tango. Eats his way through. So Old 11 has the move speed to continue pursuit. Not strength morph anymore. Trying to bait this one. And while that's happening, a solo kill made. Old Chicken with the double damage rune secures himself a crucial kill on an Alp who was snowballing. Equalizes the net worth there. And Ehome are going to switch up the lanes now. They bring Ice top. They want him to catch up on levels. They think they've gotten enough done bottom. And they will leave just the support duo here in the bottom lane. They'll send Axe to the jungle, so Ehome trying to get the experience advantage now.
Tim's was spotted rotating up. They were trying to set something up, but as soon as they saw Old 11, they backed up immediately. That mid lane solo kill, don't know if it should have happened.
They had no rune vision. He had a double damage rune, and I think Alk just got caught off guard. Like, yeah, you know Mirana has the rune, but you don't know it's a kill rune like a DD. So
the good thing for
unfortunate.
I mean, like that's a tough kill, but we've seen Alchemist be killed 2-3 times, but as long as he has, again, like you talked about, ancient stacks and bounty runes to fall back on, he should be fine. He still is sitting top the net worth. Obviously, you want to be by top by a bit more, but here's going to be the ignite. It's going to be dodged swiftly by Old Chicken, who leaps away. So they'll be able to get out from top lane. No, it's just Illusion's going to work on Nando. And Chemo's going to get some damage done to him. Not enough.
He's very low in HP here. And Fenrir channels up the long range, illuminates, snipes him. Nando even had a ward to scout that out. That is an unacceptable blunder. Can't be making those mistakes in this kind of situation. Like, limiting your farm is one thing, but sticking around with low HP another. I think at this point they may have to send someone else top. Maybe the Batrider goes there. You get the bottom lane to the Morph lane. He needs the farm. He had a good start in the lane, but the death to the Axe now, the death coming again. This is just something that can't be happening for a Morph lane.
Yeah, I mean...
Or the near death to the Axe.
Yeah, that's a diff that shouldn't be happening, right? Bottom lane, Fire Blast, they called out Lanham, and he's going to be in some trouble here with the 2 stacks of Sticky Napalm and Nando. He's like, all right, I want to be involved in a kill lane. He takes up the last hit as well.
I like this move by Execration. They go for the lane swap, but they go for a kill before they execute the second half of the lane swap. So now RR will leave the lane. Nando will take it over. They get the kill, and now he'll go back to farming. So, yeah, it was very sloppy play play by him. He shouldn't have died, but Morphling can recover from this scenario. He's not that far behind where he's totally useless. And Abed is farming very well mid. All is not lost just yet for Execration.
Certainly not, but they're going to leap forward, and they're going to use the Starstorm as well. Arrow out of mana, but Abed, he is no
He's got the ult very soon.
He needs it
very soon. He's going to pop it. Isn't it time? No, that last decay, just enough damage.
It's too good against a hero like Alchemist.
The caster jinx is real.
It's just, that's a tough play, a tough situation to be in. And they have a Vanguard now for the axe as well. Although no boots, but I don't think he really cares. He's having a pretty good time.
They're just sending Fenrir to wherever Nando lanes, so they're just not going to give this Morphling an easy time. Alk is going to have to carry, and that's where he can't be dying mid.
Yep. The TP rotations have not been happening, though. They've not really been focusing on keeping him alive. Maybe they know that he's already dead or it's too late in certain circumstances, but they could have been there a bit earlier to help him out. Old Chicken looking at the Ancients right now, and either to set up an arrow or just to make sure that there's no Ancient stacking being happening.
I think more checking the Ancients, as Alk is one of those heroes that can clear the big stacks. Being forced to pop a south, still having to buy a region at this stage of the game. You can see Lanham running for the decay, looking to deny that south. This is incredibly irritating. Meanwhile, Ice is free farming up in the top lane.
Yeah.
Mirana continuing to relatively keep up with the Alk mid. Oh.
This is kind of what I was alluding to in the draft. It's like this aggressive early game, but you have ways to fall back.
They have a sentry here for Chemo.
Yeah.
No real lockdown though.
Could have mana leak, but they decided against it. They do have Old Chicken coming in. He is going to be scouted. We'll see if there's I think a back call from Execration. It looks like there will be. Fernando is, again, like you said, they rotate down Fenrir and Alanum to make sure that he can't farm. And it's up to the Alchemist, essentially, to find stacks, to find whatever he can to get a nice lead for himself. He is his armlet now. But he's still not far enough ahead, I think, at this point in time.
You've got to keep on stacking for the op now. He is going to have to drag the team kicking and screaming back into this game, get that Radiance, stall while the Morphling plays catch up. You will sacrifice some towers. Try to trade for towers if you're Execration. Maybe look for pickoffs with the Finger of Death, which is what we see them doing now. They can rotate into the jungle here. I don't think Old 11 is killable, though, Mott. He's got the Vanguard. Two supports cannot bring this axe down. In fact, it might turn against them if they go in.
That extra 250 HP is so nice to have in this situation when you're against that burst.
And they're like, yeah, we're not touching that. So they lose their tier 1 bottom. They do not find a kill. They do not pressure the top tower. Not a very good trade for Execration. Alk is farming. That is the one ray of hope.
Nando is going to pick up a Dragon Lance, which I think is a good item and allows him to fight early, but he's not quite there yet. He needs still the 2 bands of Elven Skin. Tim's is rotated down bottom. Vision-wise, Old Chicken will see him walk up, and he just doesn't have the range. TP comes out, and that's going to be Lanham heading to the top lane, trying to find some experience in gold. Ehome, I think, are just being more efficient with their lanes. I mean, even if they rotate out of them all the time, it's still them getting the better end of the trade.
I think if you're Execration or one of their fans right now, you say a prayer to Ice Frog for the bounty rune luck. You need that Radiance timing ASAP. He gets a haste rune here, not ideal, but
he's got a good stack here at least.
It's just all about the Alk right now.
Right. It has to.
And the thing is, he's not online, right? So the longer it takes for him to come online, the longer Ehome will outmap control you. Are going to look to aggressively take fights and continue pressuring as soon as they get the axe blink. Good news is Ice isn't farming all that well. Only a 2k net worth. I mean, it's because of the lane swapping for him. He hasn't just been able to sit and static farm. It's actually his own Mirana in the lead for now, but it's not like an explosive Naga performance by any means.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, if you look at the net worth, 3 of the top 4 are in Ehome's favor, and they're about to get more kills as Tim's is going to get
friggin' Monolith! God damn it, says Tim. Just gotta let him go.
Yeah, he needs to get out too. The Starstorm will clean him up with the last right click from Fenrir getting the kill, but there's another hero coming in to cut off the path of the retreat, but he instead decides to not go for it. Old 11 just got boots finally, and he can't quite chase after Nando, especially with waveform. So he's able to get under his own tower. But again, it's another hero going down.
Execration are closing in on the bat blink. That's going to be their pick-off potential coming online. With a Finger of Death and or a waveform, there's some kill potential here, Mott. Ehome moving mid, though. They're going to muscle up on RR, but right at that moment, dying ultimate will end. 2 drop a ward, though. So you can just see the Ehome game plan is, we're going to park 3-4 heroes in your jungle, limit the Morphling's farm, limit the Alchemist's ability to farm stacks. And at the same time, farm our carries. Just try to win the War of Starvation. Part of that will be this move by Old Chicken. Comes in mid, finds the arrow on Tim's, leaps forward, gets off the double start ball. The K is there, secures the kill. That will likely mean the tower dropping as well.
Yeah, this is just Lions not having a great game. Getting caught out 3 deaths, it's not that many, but it's just he's not able to contribute because he's dead usually.
And Henry are going for an even deeper ward now. So even if they de-ward with 1 mid, which they do have a sentry over, then they go that extra level.
Song's available for Ice Ice Ice. He'll take a Ignite and this Fire Blast. It's actually doing some nice damage. They have 2 stacks of Mystique and Ehome that are about to fall. Soul Rip will keep him alive, and they're still farming elsewhere, the Alchemist, as well as Nando bottom.
Yeah, he got an Illusion Rune again. He's just not getting lucky with these bounties down the stretch. Doesn't always matter on Alch, but this is one of those games where it feels like it might. He has his Relic now. Still the Radiance. Not ready yet. He's going to buy the recipe. No, he's going to buy the Relic.
Yeah, he's trying to decide. He's going to get bloodlusted, so he's getting close to the Radiance. 14 minutes, that's the timing you're looking at for an Alchemist usually. And I think he's going to have it at that time, unless maybe they go for a gank on him, but it could be tricky.
Dragonlance up on Nando here in the bottom lane, goes in for the waveform, then TP's home. Catching up okay. The problem is when your carry Morphling is this poor of a start, the real heroes that suffer are the supports. They're the ones you have to anticipate smoke ganks, go in deep to drop wards, sit behind you a lot of the time, and you see them starting to really slip as far as net worth goes. And I think, very importantly, Tim's the lower of the 2 in net worth. This hero really needs to blink to have an impact later on.
That's why we see DC with Misery. They focus on him. Even if he's the 5 position, they give him so much room. Tim's at arrowed. It looks like he was there for a moment, but he was actually just sitting around mid, making sure he wasn't going to get caught.
That sweet D-ward by Abed gets the Greevil's Greed D-ward.
How much gold did they give him, by the way?
133.
Yeah, that's nice. It's a nice bit of gold.
Not too shabby.
And he's got that relic, the recipe very soon, but so too does Ice Ice Ice, or rather, at least the relic.
Oh, this would be huge. Killing Ice 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 now. Doesn't have mana. His deaths in game number 1 ended up coming back to haunt you. Will it happen again here? Undying comes in. Will it be Old Lanham to the rescue? It doesn't happen. That death they can ill afford, but the turnaround comes now. It's Old 11 coming in hot. The arrow's up the mark, but still Nando gets cut out. Can he strike more away? Old 11 slams the door on him. It's a double dunk. Not going to get the triple, so our predictions fail to come true.
That was a beautiful double call from Old 11. They did not expect the Blink Dagger from the Axe. They were sitting together, and he just goes straight in for it. And now they'll get a victory tier 1 tower, more than likely, as the Glyph is forced.
But they have Radiance, they have Armlet, and the level 2 ultimate on Abed. They can actually fight this mod.
They're going to go in. They have Unstable Concoction, but no mana. They get the Earth Spike. There's the finger.
Old 11's going to go down here. Ehome, will they lose more is the question. They're moving on to Old Chicken. All of a sudden, Mana Drain, or rather, the Mana... Oh, Mana Drain it is, indeed. I'm confusing that in the leak.
There's so many mana.
But they get a kill on the Axe. It's a nice kill. I mean, to me, that's still really pretty good for Execration overall because they got the Naga kill, so they get their Radiance. They delay the Naga's Radiance. Sure, they lose 2 heroes after that, but you're willing to trade some of those lower tier heroes at this stage of the game.
I think so. And Nando is going to get some more room after dying and respawn down bottom, but Chemo is very far up top lane.
No stuns, though.
TP's going to come through. Yeah, he's actually going to live. Yeah, just as you mentioned. TP's out, no problem. Good awareness, and Tims was not able to help. Tims was the other hero in that top lane. There's no way he could help him if he doesn't have a TP there, so that's luckily enough. But here's the gang squad. Old Chicken and Old 11, the old boys down bottom looking for Nando. Or maybe not.
Looking for the young boys.
They
that sounded very wrong.
They have a blink already for Nando, and they're going to use it. There's the Battle Hunger. The arrow will be right on the mark, and I don't think he can break more fast enough.
And Old 11 dunk. Does the old man have it? Wave. I'm out of here, buddy.
Nice play from Nando.
And meanwhile, Chemo just banging away at this tower mid. Ice 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 is here. Has the Song available.
Yeah.
They're going to commit it for the Chemo kill.
And the tower.
And the tower deny it. Nice little play by Ehome.
2 for 1. Chemo is,
he's done so.
He loses his last infused raindrop. The Starstorm will come through, and it's a couple
wild top Fenrir. He's going to bring in a buddy. It's Old 11. Recalls him forward. RR didn't see it coming, but he blinks out in time. Quick reaction there. Tim's also hunting around under cover of Invis.
No finger. He needs at least another hero, if not two, in order to be able to find a kill. I think he's just trying to get maybe some wards down or a courier snipe. He does find the courier, not able to get it though. But RR spotted out, realizes that they're hunting him, and he's going to be able to go into the trees with Firefly. But now there's an Aghanim scepter picked up for Old Chicken on that Mirana. That's dangerous.
Who's going to get the jump here? Old 11 just strutting up on the tower, daring Execration to fight him.
Kimo will be the arrow tanker, and he'll be fine. But then TPing bottom, Abed now has boots of travel, and so all right, he's up to 12,000 LD. He's, again, you said it, he has to do the back-breaking work, and Execration.
He's very ahead of the Naga right now. 5K net worth up. Yeah, you kind of expected a bit with Greeble's Greed, but snowballs from here because he has the boots of travel. Naga still has to farm 1,400 gold to get hers. So by the time that she gets her boots of travel, he's well on his way to his Manta Style or his Octarine Core, and he can just keep on out farming her. Will it be by a large enough margin? I'm not sure yet, but it's enough that I don't think Ehome recovers.
Sentries, but they didn't leave in time, and Kimo just gets called down as they have Moonlight Shadows, and they should have known, but fortunately he just wasn't able to get out of the area, and RR is now going to be chased next. And
this Axe has been doing work ever since he got the blink. Only 3 kills for himself, but feels like he's had a psychological impact on Execration as well, and with that kill, allows him to set up another deep ward. Trying to constrain the out, trying to limit the Morphling, who quietly farms away. It's not a carry who hugely benefits in general from the Aghanim Scepter. I mean, I guess you could hybrid this game.
You hybrid the Naga, and then you can use all non-ultimate abilities, right? With hybrid, I believe is how it works.
Yeah, it's not terrible.
For farming, I guess.
It's not. I wouldn't necessarily think it's your first Aghanim to pick up. Old 11 getting stunned here, though. They're going to bring in the out. They may look to fight this. Tims, though, does not have a blink dagger. Old 11 being burnt down. Will they get in range for that stun? Ice. Has the ultimate ready, though. Finger, that's a lot of commitment, and they're going to get turned on. Song, but it also brings in the Alchemist. He's got a chemical rage ready. I think they might be able to fight it.
Back.
Alch wants to go in.
What a lasso into Old Chicken from RR. Still, though, RR is low, but they will be able to find the kill, even with the lasso. He almost dies in that Starstorm, and RR is to back up limping, but successful in getting that kill. It's huge. Gets him 700 gold just for that kill alone, and a thousand gold exchange all across the board.
What were we talking about the hybrid? You can only hybrid your allies, right? So,
can you? All right, my bad.
So.
That sounds right.
Because that's when VG would do it. It was like they would always have like the Undying Alch Morphling strat, and they would go for the double tombstone.
You know, I've never actually seen a Morphling hybrid. I don't think in competitive or regular games. To be honest, so, or it's been a while if I have. And, little TP out.
He's gonna head towards the bottom lane, toggling the Radiance on and off here, and his fingers fresh, but looks like Manta well underway. So continues to maintain the pace of full tier 4 item ahead of Ice.
Yeah, this is exactly what you were talking about. When Ice gets boots of travel, Abed's gonna have Manta style.
He's got Manta.
Yeah, this is perfect timing for Abed right now. Tims and RR are to help him by just sitting around and making sure. And again, Tims, he needs that blink dagger, and he's kind of getting a little closer. He's 900 gold. I'm sure that's the most he's saved up this entire game. Also, he's on illusion duty. If you can manage her in any illusion, then that's pretty great.
They really need him to farm a blink, though.
Yeah.
You can't pull your allies a blink, unfortunately, as out. So.
I think they want to give him this bottom lane to farm, I believe.
I think that, to me, is probably the most important item. The problem is Ehome smoking and Moonlight Shadowing in. Hot in pursuit. They want this little lion.
I think they might have done that underneath the guise of a ward here toward this roach
TP
pit.
out. Bat Rider could blink and TP. Does he see it coming? The blink ball misses. He blinks.
Oh, wow.
He dodges the auto attack. They might still find him, though, with the slow. Looking for the TP out.
Oh my, is he going to make it away?
RR pulling out the jukes. This is huge from the Bat Rider.
That was crazy. Like you said, right before the auto attack hit him, he's able to blink and dodge all of that damage coming through and avoid dying.
He just stepped up, dodged the call. I think that was a bit by luck, and blinked out mid-Mirana auto attack animation. Yeah. Sick reactions here by RR, making big plays for the team.
Bottom tier 2 getting assaulted. They'll trade the tier 1 away, or at least they'll take it down. No trade happening yet.
The graph is climbing, Mont, and you look at this Ehome draft. Heroes like Keeper of the Light, heroes like Undying, they don't really scale that well into the late game.
Right.
Certainly not without, you know, an alchemist of their own to pull them Aghanim Scepters, which they will not have access to. Their carries decently well, Naga and Mirana, but if I'm Execration, I'm fine with this situation. You have reliable lockdown, great pickoff potential, great burst damage, a host of the ports that can really benefit from Ags. Like, sure, it's not that useful for the Morphling, but it's great on the Ogre Magi. It's really good on the Lion.
Ooh, this is a bait and a half, I think.
Ehome. They do have that. Actually, sorry, the Naga backed away, but Ice can maybe be recalled in. Are they going to look for the jump? They get the call up in RR.
Barely too. It's going to be that chain. The Starstorm with the Aghanim Scepter just melts him. Lana will get the kill onto the Bat Rider. They might look for more. Here comes the arrow coming through, but Chemo, like it dove, they're looking for the entangle, the ensnare rather. That's not going to happen. They won't be able to dive behind the tower. Instead, will just take it themselves.
Abed, Manta complete.
Lana just bought an armlet. All right. That's one way to do it.
It's not a bad item against the Radiance Burn. Just makes you a bit tankier. Really unconventional. Trying to think, why else would he?
You could do so much more with like utility pipe and stuff, and I'm kind of surprised, but whatever works.
Why armlet?
Allies disappear.
I wish I could tell you, but we're gonna have to wait and see what it does.
Shadow bottom though. They're moving in, but there's a nice sentry here on the high ground. Oh, they're just out of range, unfortunately. Tim gonna get caught. It's gonna be a long time before this man gets like at the rate things are going.
Yep.
Down again.
I guess, again, every time you die like that, though, you're still saying space created for Nando and for Abed as well, who, again, is very, very farmed at this point now with his Manta done, his Soul Booster's done, and he's on his way to his Octarine Core, and more than on his way at this point. My problem with Ehome and you talking about their skilling supports is that you have 3 heroes farming every bit of the map. A Naga Siren pushing on almost every lane. You have a Mirana who's using Starstorm to do the same, and then you have, obviously, the Axe to jungle if he wants to. So you actively have to give your supports extra farm.
Yeah, you don't have an Alk. You're not going to be giving them free eggs.
Right.
I'll bet about to complete the Octarine now, almost halfway there, the Mystic Staff. So
beating on Dire's top tower.
He moves in mid lane. He's just going to go for a solo pick on Fenrir. Rolls in. The song is there.
Oh, he
catches him out. He has the armlet. He does not have Chemical Rage up. Ehome might be able to focus him down. Abed, this is a disaster if he drops. He gets caught. He gets called. He falls. Alchemist cannot be dying, and certainly not in that manner.
What is he doing there? The fighting underneath the enemy tier 2 to try to find a kill, and he almost did, but again, the song was there at a moment's notice.
Who cares if you kill Keeper of the Light?
Right.
That hero won't matter if you just farm. That is a big mistake.
That's not space created. Nando, he was not really farming at the time, and Abed, of course, going down is probably the biggest thing that it can ever happen to your team. Execration, they'll avoid more damage being done to them. His old chicken was looking for an arrow top lane, but no follow-up. Instead, they're going to send some heroes down bottom with Lanham. No Roche, by the way, just yet in this game, but I think that might change soon for Ehome.
I mean, even going for that dive, like, he didn't even have Chemical Rage up there. I know. Maybe if he did, he could have gotten away with it and lived. Still a questionable play, but...
He tried TPing and the song was there. That was also... I mean, at least it wasn't...
I mean, they have a tier 2 up. Like, they're likely going to be ready. Oh, RR. He's getting caught out here on the top side of the map. Good double Starstorm, and Ulchik finds another.
He would have survived had it not been the Manly, because he would have been able to firefly up to the high ground, I believe, and that's just unfortunate for... It's just, look at the kill score, 6-16 now. Ehome are clearly doing the majority of the damage here, but again, it's only a 3,000 net worth lead, which they did garner over the last couple of minutes by killing Abed. Call's going to go on to some illusions. It's actually the replicate. Blade Mill will be on top. Calm. No, I mean, they know it's a Naga illusion, so... No need.
Still very impressed by Nando. He's found a lot of farm considering how the lanes went. He's actually ahead of the enemy. Mirana should be farming better, but the thing is for Old Chicken, he didn't go BOTs this game. He went phase boots. So that really limits your ability to farm around the map. You do have recall from the Keep of the Light, which helps a bit, but here comes a Moonlight Shadow creeping around. Chemo, Tim, caught out. 2 hero blade call. They will get that.
Chemo will be the second. That double kill for Gold 11.
And looking for a third. They're also going to find Abed again. Execration crumbling under the relentless pressure of Ehome. They look for more here. Can they focus the Alk down as the ultimate ends? It's an easy pick-off. And suddenly, an Alchemist that was 7K ahead of the Naga finds himself barely 4K on top.
Those kills give them about a 2,500 gold advantage. That's nuts. Again, it's just Abed getting caught out. They probably felt safe over towards their ancient stack. There's a ward there. Again, the vision battle is being won by Ehome, which is what we predicted at the beginning of the game. And Execration, Nando has got his Dragon Lance, he's got his Lincoln Sphere, but he needs more. And that's maybe what can get you back into this game. With a shotgun, I suppose. Like you said, it's not great against Mirana, but...
I don't think you go shotgun against Mirana. I think you go just for more right-click items this game, like Butterfly, maybe Scotty. The thing is, like, Undying's even very tanky with an armlet and a point booster. Keeper of the Light has a mech and is always carrying raindrops. I just don't think there are any easy solo kills with a shotgun. It does go fairly well with the Lion, but I don't think this Lion's a relevant hero.
He's picked up the Ghost Scepter.
With no blink at 27 minutes.
Nando has the Ghost Scepter. He had just purchased it, so I guess he feels confident in his ability with the shotgun to be able to bring somebody down. They are going to smoke up. That smoke's about to dissipate, but Tim's will find Lana, who does have not only the armlet but the point booster as well. I don't know if you can ever kill him, but here's the fight. The last Old 11 going to get brought down to low ground.
No song for 30 seconds. Could be an opening. They're going to find Old 11, bring him down to the river. Can they focus him? They do. They move on to Abed. He's got the Chemical Rage up here as well as the armlet.
So the Illuminate will come through and kill RR, but now that might be the end of the engagement. A 1-for-1, but no, the Moonlight Shadow's going to come through and they're trying to find more of the...
Abed, he needs the armlet toggle back on here. Oh, he gets sniped by Old Chicken. Another death for the Alchemist, and then Nando to fall possibly as well.
Wait for him, ready to go.
Quadruple Starstorm maybe coming in. He waves his way out. He's going to create a replicate, continues to retreat. He's running out of strength to morph to, though. He gets focused, isolated. Ghost Scepter, replicate, juke. It doesn't matter. He falls again. Tim's forced to limp away. It feels like everything has just fallen apart since that ill-fated move mid from the Alchemist.
Yeah, they had, like you said, constantly growing network draft going back in their favor. They had the advantage coming. They had Nando farming very well. They were getting a couple of kills, but now they've lost control. They don't have map control. They've lost kills. And that last team fight shows you why. I mean, they kept that axe alive so long, and there was nothing left in the tank after that. For Execration after that lasso came through, and they killed the axe. So all that's left now for Ehome potentially is to bust down these towers and get an Aegis to go along with it, perhaps. But maybe Abed can keep this game even if he still doesn't have that Octarine core. And he had that Soul Booster forever. I'm shocked, actually.
Naga actually beating him to the punch. That is extremely worrying if you're Execration. What was once a 6k gold lead over the enemy one position has now become scarcely a 1k advantage, and you're Alk. So the net worth isn't going to go as far. Not entirely out of it yet. A 10k gold deficit, but Execration with the lineup that can split push, that does have good pick-off potential. They have to get a Lion Link, and they cannot afford to let the Alk die for a while now. He gets his Octarine. He will be able to split push much more effectively with this item pickup. Synergizes great with the Manta style, the Chemical Rage. But on top of this, like, you need to get even tankier here. They've been able to burst them in fights, Mod.
Yeah.
Oh, they're moving in. They find RR. The snipe is there.
That's the gem gone as well. Chemo will TP out. Call is ready? No, he doesn't have it. He actually used it in that engagement, but still a gem down. Did he just buy that? Let's see. It looks like, yeah, he did. He literally just bought that. 845 left on the restock. So Execration, they had enough trouble losing gems last game, but it seems to have crossed over into this game as well.
Ehome, they were on the verge of getting knocked down after game 1, even heading into the early stages of game 2. It looked bleak. The early stages of game 3, not great. Sure, they were leading, but it felt like Execration were in control of the game, but veteran poise under pressure is coming through for them. 14,000 gold advantage, map control advantage, wards planted down everywhere. The gem, as you mentioned, snapped away from Captain Chemo. Execration are really on their last legs. They have to play virtually flawlessly from here on out to get back in.
That's not going to happen. Chemo is going to get caught with a call and a call. It's going to be the adaptive strike from at least one R. Actually uses his lasso on the Lincoln Sphere that was just purchased by Old Chicken, and now Lana's coming in. They're going to have the Tombstone. Unstable Concoction dodged by the Manta Stable. Now that looks to be the end of the engagement. They'll go back in, adaptive strike again into Old 11. The Radiance burn for the illusions, but that should be the end of it. Moonlight Shadow under the illusions. Kind of funny.
Well, what's Alk going to be buying here? Oh no, sorry, that's the Eagle Psalm. So, shotgun is ready. You have shotgun into finger. Pretty strong combo. Maybe they're going to give Tim an Ags.
They have to get out of the base first.
It's not all over yet, but I just feel the Alk is falling off. He's even a net worth, but he can't really stand in the fights. I'm wondering what that next item will be. AC isn't that great. There's a lot of magic bursts from the Mirana.
Has looked better.
You go for like a heart instead, just for raw HP to deal with that. Shiva's is traditional pickup with this build, but again, Ehome are more magic damage with Veil and Mirana, so I'm not sure if just getting armor is the way to go here.
I actually like the idea of a heart, but that seems you already have the Octarine on top of that, so I don't know if they want to go that route with Abed. Regardless of the choice, they're getting hemmed in their base. They can barely get out. Again, the map control belongs to Ehome with the vision they have, the advantage there. Chemo got out to put one ward over towards the Roche pit, which Roche, they still have the age for 2 minutes. There's no more outer towers for Execration and Ehome. Again, now all they have to do is keep the waves pushed out and go for a high ground push, I suppose. Looks like they're going to group up mid to do just that. They're going to send the illusions in. Old 11 will finish up his BKB, have that ferried out to him. They pushed it mid, but they decided to not go just yet.
Ehome definitely in the driver's seat here, now closing on a 20k gold lead at 33 minutes. It was so close, Mott. That one Alk death, it feels like it's just set off a chain reaction of disaster. As Old 11 moves in, Moonlight Shadow is there. The whole Naga swarm of illusion pushing all these lanes, and Ehome fishing with arrows. We'll have a go at mid.
He sidestepped the arrow coming in, and Abed will be able to push out the mid lane using his illusions, but Old Chicken will deal with that very quickly, so that illusion's gone. And again, they have Aegis only for a minute longer, so I don't know if Ehome will actually go.
Waiting on the Axe BKB. It's going to arrive now. I think they may try to force this. The other thing is Ehome, they have Song, so they can abuse the Song of the Siren, Song a couple of heroes on one side of the lanes, siege the other with Naga illusions. Like there are some cheeky ways for them to try and gain the map control advantage. And the other thing is, if it's going to come down to who pushes lanes better, one team is Keeper of the Light as well as a Radiant Split Pusher, the other does not. So I favor Ehome in a war of attrition here.
That's how I feel about it as well. I don't like, even if you can push the group waves out, I don't think they're going to be out for very long. So even if they are able to get a couple of kills, I don't see them being able to push high ground or anything like that. I mean, there's still tier 2s alive for Ehome, so Execration have to win a fight first, and that doesn't look like it's happening anytime soon. Again, though, the shotgun is available. Aegis is now gone. You have their Lion Blink yet. Nope, 1,800 gold. He needs that so badly.
Tim's would have had this blink faster if he just sat in the fountain, but had he done that, his carries may have fed more. So it's a rock and a hard place for the starved support. I mean, I think Morphling should be letting him last hit, though. This is... You want Blink, man. That is your reliable follow-up damage after last so to get a kill. But he ain't getting it.
No, not yet anyway.
The struggle.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, do you go for a smoke for Execration? They have one on Chemo, but I guess you have to keep the lanes pushed out first, because otherwise you just take free tower damage. But
Execration, as was the story in game number 2, dead even through the mid game, and then it all seemed to fall apart. This time they haven't lost all hope yet, though. The rack's yet to fall, but under heavy duress here. Ehome fighting the never-ending war against these alchemist illusions, but they have the tools to do it with Gandalf by their side. You can see the lanes are permanently parked on the Execration side of the map, and barring a smoke gank, barring a bold move outwards, they're going to stay there.
Yeah. It's so hard. It's so hard for them to even be able to...
Oh, they get a net off. They're going to move on Chemo, maybe.
Yeah, Riptide's going to come in. Starstorm, see you later. Old Chicken will find the kill, and he just, again, melts.
That nuke damage.
It's so good. The Starstorm damage comes out, and that's all they really need. A Veil,
that and a Veil, and you're
yeah, exactly. The Veil on top will even make it even worse.
Another arrow. Oof. Off the mark.
Not much
but they're killing these alk illusions so quickly. Like maybe one gets out, kills one creep wave.
Being very diligent about that, which is great. And they've Moonlight Shadowed. They're going to maybe try to group up for the first time. They'll deal with the illusions down bottom. Firefly from
RR's going to go. The song, he's out of range. He doesn't find the bat. Oh, they barely catch him out. Can they find the follow-up? Old 11 has a BKB. He's going to go back in. He wants to. He calls an illusion.
This is not the best fight right now. Nando from the backside trying to go for Fenrir, but doesn't do nearly enough damage. The point booster and mech survive
with ease. And this is a Naga in her prime. She'll have that song back in 15 seconds flat. That's nothing ventured, just the BKB. But Lion Blink. There is yet a small ray of hope for the Pinoy squad.
The blink in from, or the leap in, the blink in from Old Chicken, and then the Starstorm, he had like 3 or 4 of them hit up onto the Morphling. It did half of his HP in terms of damage.
The great Illusion Wars, they rage on.
Well, Roche might be up soon, though. It is. We're going to find out when that Roche will respawn momentarily, and that might be what Ehome waits for. There is a BKB picked up, though, for Nando for the Morphling. Allows him to be a bit more aggressive with that shotgun. Probably go full Agi, or at least close to full Agi.
You know what they say about going full Agi, Mod?
Sometimes it can be really bad, but no. In this situation, I think he has to. Nando is a little far up. He has Replicate. Lincoln Sphere will go. They actually use the song. They're going to catch him out of position.
They're going to cancel the song, though. It's him to come in and make a huge play. Oh, he only gets one.
Here comes down. There's the mech coming through. The lasso is up onto Old Chicken. They did get the Nagatar, though, in the back of Nando. And now Old Chicken might be next. The acid spray, the right click.
Execration. Nando for the comeback here. They're going to get 2 Mod. They're looking for more.
Oh, can they catch anybody? I don't think so. Abed didn't see Fenrir off at the high ground. Old 11 is going to walk through the mid lane.
Oh my god, that has to be at least like a 5-6K gold swing.
Let's see.
Oh, actually not that much. Okay.
For 2 heroes, if it was that much, I would have been. Oh my god.
I mean, they're down a lot, man. They're down 20K gold, but it will end up being a 5-6K gold swing as they'll take this tower. They may even get the tier 1 bottom if the Execration wants to rotate there, or they can threaten high ground and try to force out buybacks, but that is risky.
Yes.
Do they have their own in case they overextend? They do on the Morphling and the out, so they're going to risk it. They're going for the big play here, Execration. 1 buyback.
Yeah, they're not going to get a second, I don't believe.
They're still sticking around.
Abed is being very, very particular about this. They'll back up together instead and TP out and not lose a single soul, it looks like, in that push. And a lot of damage done to the tier 3 tower mid.
I don't think they were ready for that BKB Morphling.
No, I don't think so.
They committed everything with the Saw and Arrow combo. He just calmly turns the fight.
And this is now, the Alchemist was struggling in that mid-game the past couple of minutes, but now he has room to buy his team.
Hey, look who's winning the Illusion Wars now. Creep waves all shoved past the river, or at least to the river in the case of the mid lane. That Alchemist is coming back.
And that tier 1 wasn't there bottom lane. It probably pushed even further, but as you can see, the tier 1 sitting at 115 HP and deny range now. Obama can go ahead and deny it if need be. And he will have an Aghanim Scepter. He's going to buy it and slide out. And that's where this game gets a bit easier for an Undying, but it's still an Undying in the late game situation alongside Keeper the Light. But
they're very far, though. That's right. Especially the Undying. But once you get an Axe on this Lion, the Ogre, they're right up there with them. So, see an Aghanim come out for the Alk. Who's he going to give it to?
That's the question. Who do you give this Aghanim Scepter to? Who's the likely candidate?
Who's it going to be? He's heading towards Nando.
Yeah, he's going to go to Nando.
Special delivery.
He's going to get the hybrid.
Here, Morphling. Come on, bud. No, okay, it looks like it's not for the Morphling. Or at least he's in no hurry to claim his prize.
Everyone's actually walking up top, including Ehome, who are making their
Nando's
way.
like, you come to me, my friend, but there's a lot of stuff about to break out here.
They gave it to Morphling. They have hybrid now, but they're all tipping away, and it looks like they'll all make it out. Moonlight Shadow's going to be useless here. It's not going to be able to find anything, and they lose the tier 2 tower, I believe, as well. So that's just a quick hit and run that works perfectly for Execration.
All right, so they have, I guess, another Alchemist now.
Yes, wow. Very true.
Cannot use the chemical rage, though.
Where's that hybrid? Where is that thing?
No, he hasn't actually used it yet.
Okay.
But, I mean, I don't think there's anyone else you would really want to hybrid?
60-second cooldown, okay.
Yeah.
Is it 20-second duration, too?
I'm not sure that's the hero you want to be getting. Like, to me, these supports are really squishy and easily burst. Like, sure, hybrid's a strong ability, but I kind of of like the idea of giving it to the Lion and the Ogre, just so they're not like so easily brought
I think the
one
Ogre...
Starstorm and a Riptide, you're just dead.
I think the Ogre would be my choice in that situation. Roche, by the way, is being taken currently, and it's actually below half health.
This is so freaking cheesy, though, dude. You could have replicates, hybrids, Alkalusion, just... I thought Naga was dirty, but Execration may have found a way to one-up that.
I touched an Aegis once.
Well, there's the hybrid. It's walking through. It's only got a couple seconds left. Where's he going? He's just walking straight down mid.
Oh, so you can't use the Chemical Rage, but if he already has Chemical Rage active,
Dire's bottom
the hybrid
tower
will
is
have
under
it
attack.
active.
Dire's bottom tower is falling.
All right, so you have 2 Chemical Rage Alchemists. Seems pretty good.
And then you just throw down an acid spray, and
you only get it for 20 seconds, but that's long enough to do some damage.
Yeah, I'm still with you. I don't know about the Ags.
I mean, with him having Chemical Rage, that seems pretty annoying.
Right, that was, by the way, not Cheese Roche. That was the second Roshan. So it's just the Aegis picked up for Old Chicken. Old Chicken, Lincoln Sphere. We haven't really checked any Ehome's items recently. It's been all about who are we seeing the Aghanim Scepter going for Execration. And Ehome's items are, as you would imagine, you have Diffusal Blade, we already talked about. The Aghanim Scepter for Lanham. Old 11 has picked up a Lotus Orb, so he gets make sure he can just take off any debuffs or anything that's a problem.
Yeah, really good versus the Lion to deal with the Hex, mainly. As well as the Batrider Lasso.
Top barracks are under attack.
Whew. All right, Mott. This one ain't over yet.
43 minutes, and we could go even longer.
I just... Alchemist strutting out everywhere. Old 11's like, I must spin. I must chop. There's too many targets. Now Abed, his finest creation about to be complete here. The Assault Caress. Slows room for a Moonshard. Also worth mentioning, we often forget about this, but they have Bloodlust. Bloodlust with 2 right-clicking carries late game, do not underestimate. Tread with caution.
I mean, you get like a Maelstrom Mjolnir with Alchemist, and he gets Bloodlust, and you're like max, or not even max, I don't know what attack speed you're at, but it's ridiculous, I'll tell you that much. And then all of a sudden, you're just dying instantly to this hero if you can lock any targets down with the Alchemist. So we'll wait and see where...
Man, if Ehome lose this game, oh my goodness.
That's a tilting loss. Then you go into the losers bracket with this loss on your back, with a Naga and a Mirana.
I mean, the game felt, look at the graph, look at the map control, the game felt entirely over. They had shut down the Alk, they killed them like 3 times in a row, but they have yet to take that lane of Brax. They've only exposed the north lane, and they're heading south.
Ours sitting in a nook where they don't have vision, and if Ehome walk up even a little bit, I think he wants to go.
Lasso?
He's gonna go now.
He gets him.
In there. Old 11 is in trouble. He's got BKB Defender. He's done. Shotgun will go first, and Nando's gonna clear up.
They're gonna keep it going. They're gonna look for more ice. In pretty far. Does have a Psalm available. There is no Axe buyback.
They're just backing up,
but they're ratting it out a little bit top. Good news is Tim's, as the Lion, can quickly deal with those Naga illusions.
Yeah.
This is truly a chess match.
That replicant is doing some work against Fenrir. And he's gonna go in for
buddy. How you doing?
Used, and now he's gonna turn to Lanham and say, "What's up?" Decay is there though. Lanham very
he can get more. That ultimate's in. It does have the armlet available. Song has been cracked. Abed will stun himself, but Ice is on the run. It's Execration hunting Ehome. They don't have vision for Lanham.
Yeah, he has no detection. He's gonna be able to TP away, luckily enough. But they're fighting back, LT. They're getting these engagements going their way.
I mean, Ehome did a little bit of damage to the range racks. Let's remember, this is a game of objectives, but just chipping away to range racks will not win you this game. You need at least mega creeps, and even then, one of these teams might be able to win in the throne race if they're not careful.
Even if they kill that top lane of racks, I don't know how much they care.
This is not a 1 lane of racks game. I don't even think it's a 2 lane of racks game. No. It's mega creeps. If you have buybacks, you're pretty good.
All right, well.
But Alk and Morphling can base race. These heroes hit buildings very hard.
Yeah, and he's picked up a Scotty now for the Morphling, not to mention, obviously, the Aghanim Scepter that he already has. And is there another Axe coming out after he built the AC? Not yet, anyway. He just finished that item up. He sold his armlet for it, too. Now he's 6-slotted completely.
And now, the supports. They have waited so long for this. Tim's half his life, practically.
Chemo's even worse,
That Blink took him, like, what, 37 minutes to get or something?
Yeah, I'd say.
He could all of a sudden be more farmed than the light here.
And Chemo is...
Ogre, it's Ogre. Ogre doesn't even know what he's missing.
He doesn't
look
have
at that idiot. Have you heard him talk before?
Like, I'm trying to get Yules the entire game. It's even worse.
Something he's doing?
Pretty much. That's pretty much where he's at. He's at peon level from Warcraft 3 at this point in time. It's really bad at this point for Ehome, or excuse me, for Execration's supports. And yeah.
It's now a 10k gold lead, which considering the draft, considering the stage of the game, is a mild lead at best. Ehome creeping up, but the lanes are being cut here. Alchemist Illusion cutting the bottom lane. Nando getting to work top. They hold the high ground.
They have a Hex Roll Chicken lasso. They get it off. There's the call in time. Old 11 was there. They
But the
siren.
He's going to stun himself here. And Ahmed, no, he misses. He gets the slop out, and now he's going to move in onto Ice. Nando dealing with the tombstone. They're going to look for more. Ehome needs to disengage. It doesn't feel like they're fighting the take. The stun, the burn. Can they get the call? He's low. No, they managed to turn it around. That illuminate damage.
That was
massive from Ehome. Heals them all and just nukes the crap out of Execration.
That was insane.
The Illuminate with the Veil, and I think they also got like a Riptide and Radiance Prosperity with the Moonlight, or the Starstorm rather. That is a lot of damage.
And that fight looked real bad, so bad for Ehome, but it just can't believe it turned around like that. That Illuminate actually did so much work for them. Without it, game is
with the Veil. That is insane AoE damage. Nando's going in.
He wants to fight hold on him as well. Fenrir's done with the shotgun. Now he's going to turn his attention with the right click. Slan's going to get caught out. Here's the song though. Back up off cooldown. Isis is going to come in. The arrow is going to hit. Now he's in trouble. But here comes old 11. Abed as well. They got that tanky.
Be careful here. Abed does not have buyback. They're chasing him out. Moving in a bit deeper.
They have Lasso ready to go. And
Morphling also buyback, but he also may need to use it.
Yeah, he's going to have to use his buyback here. Luckily, he's pretty much got all the items he needs. He's roughly 6-slotted with the exception of a Moon Shard. RR has his Lasso back up ready again. And Old Chicken, he's got his Lincoln Sphere.
Shadows take.
We're at that stage of the game where just not having a buyback can instantly cost you everything.
Yep.
Lower bracket is not where you want to be in the wild card. That is probably the most stressful position you can be at. I would say up until like deep into the main event.
I would agree. Because it's tournament life.
It's one thing if you're in the BO1s in the main event, like you had your shot in the group stage, but to have 4 teams come into the wild card, only 2 emerge, and then you spend 2 weeks in Seattle wishing you were playing one, that I think is the deepest cut.
Yeah, for sure. And all 4 of these teams, including Execration, have shown they are no pushovers. They deserve, I think, all 4 of these teams deserve a shot at TI. And right now,
this is your shot.
Yeah,
you gotta earn your place in the main event.
And they're not forcing the buyback out from the Morphling right now. He is 13 seconds in, he's respawning without any.
This is great
buyback.
Great defense here now. Still don't have an Alchemist buyback, and that's where Ehome can maybe punish. Our first Rax finally crumbles to dust. The ranged top. It is but chip in the armor of Execration, though.
Very small chip in the armor.
Honestly, it's more the kills that matter right now. Forcing out buybacks, killing the Alchemist, and preventing him from buying back with 4.5 minutes to go. That's where you can really start chopping wood.
I've heard of slow siege, but this is a very slow siege. Old Chicken jumps in.
A bold strut forward. Chemo.
Oh my god.
And this is why the supports need the X.
Yeah.
Man, they just need the HP. Look at this Ogre.
If there's any follow-up to that, and then Chemo's dead.
And that's an Ogre McGee.
Yeah.
It's a tanky mother.
He was tanky. He does have a Yule Scepter now, which will help. Actually set up a lot of kills, potentially. And also breaking spheres as well.
But I'm just seeing creeps being dragged the wrong direction. Ehome, where are you guys going?
Better help Dyer's middle tower.
Back in that lane.
You should see Ice is back at the base, potentially. Not sure if they know it's the real one. Illuminate clears the group wave down bottom, and at some point, someone's going to have to make a move.
You say that, but there's an Alchemist and a Naga in this game. Nobody has to make a move, Mont.
I mean,
let's be real.
At the very least, we might have to find another Aghanim Scepter pretty soon. He has 3,000 surplus, 3,200. He needs another 1,000 to have buyback, which of course is still on cooldown for 3 minutes.
No, nice having a little fun in the top lane here. There's the net. Baby gets forced out.
He's going to keep me home. That's a lot of damage, though. Now they get the last off an old 11 back. They get the finger off as well. He's low. The Soul Rip, there's the neck on top, but it's too much damage.
He buys back. They're going to saw trap, set up, arrow coming through. It's a whip. They didn't time it right. Nando's able to wave away.
But Abed is in trouble. He's got no buyback, and he is going to fall down for 108 seconds, and that's just too much. Now you've got to defend without your Alchemist. It's going to have to do so much work for your Morphling.
And no hybrid either. They truly have no Alch. Ehome still have to be careful, though. That shotgun combo can quickly burst heroes down.
Emo takes 4 Starstorms to the dome and will go down as well. Old Chicken blown up by Nando, but now he's going to get called, and Nando might be in trouble. He does have buyback, and he will go down to the decay. Rather the Solar, they find the net on his Tims as well. Force himself back. He's just trying to get away with the illusions now. Ice takes the adaptive strike, but now the Rex in trouble. The range will be the first to fall. 3 dead. I don't know what to see. This might be it.
Execration, they fought heart and soul. They had their shots in the series mod, but it's just one dieback that could cost them, likely will cost them everything. It's the mid lane under siege. No outs for 50. Nando can't do it alone. Dota is a team game, and Ehome, they've got the numbers. They've taken 2.5 lanes. They're closing in on 3. A win here. They move along into the winter bracket finals. They'll have 2 shots. Can Morphling somehow play the hero? Nando will try, but it just ain't gonna happen.
No! He didn't have his BKB at the tail end of the TP, and that's it. Then you have the GG out. No buybacks.
It's nothing but O-lots here for Execration. Down to the lower bracket. Not out of it yet, but a long road to travel if they want to make it to the main event. For Ehome, they take the shorter path. Still, this was a shaky performance mod. This was not the Ehome we were expecting. I think Execration played a little better than expected, but I think Ehome looks very vulnerable. This team was almost universally proclaimed to be the team to beat in the wild card.
Yep.
They don't look invincible to me.
I agree 100%. There were a lot of mistakes they made going back even to the first game where they seemingly walked into 5 heroes in the jungle when they were only 2. And from that point on,
Radiant team ban. Dire team's turn to pick. Radiant team's turn to pick. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Faceless Void.
Radiant team's turn to pick.
It is Kezu plays it.
Dire team's turn to pick. Seconds remaining.
Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to some more wildcard action here at TI 2016. We've got Ehome up against Escape Gaming, Sind and the boys. I'm OD Pixel. I'm going to be joined by Driscoll for this series. The winner securing themselves at least $97,000 at this best of three. That's a lot of money, Andy.
And it's not just about the 97,000, it's about the guaranteed spot in the TI, right? I mean, that's the bigger win, I think, here for both teams. And of course, this is the winner match. Ehome coming off their victory against Execration. It was a 2-1. Escape beating Complexity 2-1. So both series went to a third game. In this draft so far, we're seeing something that, Ehome just did against Execration. They ran the Naga Siren. Escape Gaming, obviously having seen a little bit of that game, because their game ran longer than Escape versus Complexity. So they took out the Coddle, taking out the initiation of the Bat Rider, and interestingly enough, the approach that Escape Gaming have taken to this game is very different from what they were doing against Complexity. So, interesting to see a bit of a change-up. Obviously, Cinderin has a plan. Curious to see how it's going to work out.
Absolutely. Again, this Void through, and the other time as well, something that we've not seen maybe as much as we'd expect so far, even though it's very early stages of the tournament.
But they could have been anticipating the Naga, and that's a good reason why you would want the Elder Titan, because it makes the hero a lot more squishy. So.
Absolutely, as you said as well, if people didn't see that game, Ehome versus Execration, where they did play the Naga won the game in a scenario as well, which could have been considered a hard game for Naga, because it was against an Alchemist, dishing out the Aghanims. The opponents were getting a lot of farm and being able to take it late game as well, but Ehome with their Naga, they were able to play around it so perfectly. The songs were brilliant, and they're just able to break the high ground and catch the enemy off guard, which, as you said, Escape Gaming, they were maybe already anticipating the Naga, but they've really got to appreciate how good Ehome can play around this era.
The way that they played the game, they just took advantage so fast. And I think at some point, Execration were behind like 18, 17 kills or something like that. They had no towers, and they were just kind of sitting inside of the base. So that's like the Naga dream game. I don't think Escape Gaming are going to give them anything like that here, just after having seen their opening, because Faceless Void, Elder Titan, they're very good at fighting around objectives. Like, you think about the Spirit inside of the Roshan pit, defending tier 3s. Even just in terms of overall deep push, Dazzle and Elder Titan are both okay, even as supports. Because the Stomp does a tremendous amount of DPS. You can use Shadow Wave to push out waves as well. And there's a lot of ways that they can make sure that there's no, 3 lanes pushing in at the same time as the worst case scenario, right? So you always want at least a good amount of deep push. So it feels like that's the direction they're taking right now. And also, Dazzle is just a natural counter to Elder Titan in its own right, because Weave gives you a ton of plus armor, and Elder Titan's really good at reducing base armor. So it could be a denial pick as well as just good synergy with the rest of the draft.
And Ehome now with their third pick here. We'll be interested to see, obviously, as we were saying, Escape Gaming have taken away some of the heroes that they were running with the Naga in the game before. But if Ehome want to take anything else that's going to kind of stick to their hands. And always interesting to know, Ehome, they love the Ogre match. I don't know.
They do.
Every time the old Lanham can pick it, he seems to be taking it recently.
It's like that, and every once in a while you see the Kunkka come out as well. We saw that during the qualifiers a little bit. But I think the Ogre's kind of coming back because you see a lot of these rotating heroes, and sometimes it's nice just to have one support on your team who can pretty much just walk around where he's needed and just have that pressure of, okay, maybe the offlaner can't do anything now, and you get, one extra item on your safe lane, then he's fine. You go somewhere else. It offers you an insane amount of damage as well if you do manage to get to that Aghanim state, and Bloodlust is always going to be a great steroid during any part of the game. So it's just, I think, a really solid hero overall right now.
Taking their time here, yeah. I mean, and looking at Escape Gaming's draft as well, obviously, as you said, with the Out-of-Time and the Dazzle, they do have the Aura, the Weave, but they don't really have a lot of kind of just punch and ways of killing people, especially if Ehome have these kind of beefier heroes like the Ogre and obviously like the Naga eventually is going to reach to. Escape Gaming, it feels to me that these final two cores that they then go for, they need to be able to just dish out the pain. We need to see a lot of stuff coming out from Era and Quaker, which, considering the games we've seen so far in Quaker's performance, we can, he's been on form today. His performances have been absolutely brilliant. Ehome, they're going to be picking up the Death Prophet this game, a hero that we just don't see that much of.
To be honest, it's not a bad DP game. Like, it's very difficult between the two supports they have on Escape to really pressure the hero in lane directly, and that's typically the objective that you have, right? You see this Death Prophet, you want to kill her like 2 or 3 times in lane to slow her tempo, and that's like the #1 priority. But when you have a Dazzle and an Elder Titan, it's kind of like, all right, maybe a Stomp can set up for some kind of kill. Maybe they go back for Quickviz Invoker. It was banned against Complexity in the last series. They could for the Queen again, although Queen is a very all-in pick for them. I think the only time it works is when in addition to also having farm, the hero just falls flat. So yeah, it's just going to be the Invoker. I think it's probably the more stable pick. It's another hero that's very good at clearing out waves. I would assume this is going to be Exort. It's very good synergy with the Faceless Void. Even Elder Titan Stomp can set up for Sunstrikes. It just overall fits the draft very well.
Yeah, absolutely. As I said, this is what they were lacking, and this is going to fit the bill. Absolutely. It's the missing piece of the puzzle that really just absolutely makes the Elder Titan, the Dazzle combination set up for huge amounts of damage, and we obviously know Quafer's Invoker, very, very impressive, and he can carry a game on his shoulders on his Invoker.
Oh, absolutely.
He can rock it up.
Dude, he was carrying on
like
Queen, and I would say that Queen is a much worse kind of position 1 style mid that Quakefa does play for this team. Sure, Era also gets a good amount of farm, but in all the games that they were playing against Complexity, it felt like Quakefa was always the highest network on the team. So giving him something that's going to be able to abuse that farm and abuse the late game as well, because Invoker scales phenomenally, is always going to be a step in the right direction.
I do like this Disruptor pick for me, and I do like what they're doing with the fact that they've got both this Disruptor and the Death Prophet, because that, the Static Storm and the Silence, that is going to be very, very annoying for Escape Gaming to fight into in these team fights. Dazzle, he's got to be very careful with his positioning. He's got to make sure he can get that Grave off before his Silence. Invoker, Void, they can just be shut down, chased down, caught out. So Ehome, if they're able to play as well as they have been so far, I can't ever feel that they have got the answers to what Escape Gaming's trying to do so far.
Their counter initiation is terrifying, because if you think about the way the team fights are usually going to go, it's either an Elder Titan Stomp or a Faceless Void ultimate to start the fight for Escape, because they don't have any other forms of initiation. That is how they start a fight, those abilities pretty much, and that's it. So what happens is a song comes out from Ice Ice Ice, and then a Static Storm and a Kinetic Field can be just dropped on that song. And as soon as the song is canceled, you're already stuck inside of it. So you're just in a position immediately where you don't want to be, basically. So I think that Ehome, like you said, they have very good tools at dealing with the Chronosphere, with the Echo Stomp, and whatnot coming out of Escape Gaming. So I'm curious to see what they're going to pick for Era now, because they need something.
I do like that band from Ehome, because this could have very well been a Huskar.
It could have been a Huskar.
This absolutely could have been a Huskar lineup for Escape Gaming.
But you know what's really interesting? Hero is in the pool. But I don't think that Escape Gaming are super skilled at the drone. We'll see them.
I mean, this pick from Escape Gaming, as I said, that Huskar that's been taken away. I was talking to them earlier. They were saying, they do like to run it with the Dazzle. Less so the Oracle, because Sin, he does struggle.
Yeah. Sure.
Dazzle's a little
I
easier.
actually think that Escape are in a very hard position right now, because I think that Ehome are going to do what they did against Execration and just do some dual offlane, like maybe Ogre Axe. And that lane is tough for any melee core. Doesn't matter what it is. They want to focus a lot of attention on the supports having to be either around that lane, or the safe lane of Escape is just going to get punished. So, a very interesting situation for them. They really want to pick a range core. But
I mean, you think the Drow can still work here?
I mean, it's super all in. It is super, super all in. They lose like the first 20 minutes of the game.
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
They do it.
I actually think it's like the best choice, but it's also a very hard to execute choice.
Yeah. All right, it's a TI6, and we're seeing Drow get through as the last pick. That's something. You know, people thought we were in this meta where Drow was going to be banned picked to the start. No, sneak it through at the end. And it may not be the Huskar that maybe they would have rather picked this game, but the fact that they get this Drow, their lanes are going to be strong.
I don't even know if Huskar's that good, because you have Naga Siren, so like you dunk in, you can get songed, and then there's Static Storm is on your head, and there's an Axe in the game as well, like spin is pure damage. And
so would you say that Ehome could have maybe banned the Drow and just picked the Axe, and then that would have put them off picking Huskar as well, or they could have still picked it, and it could have been an issue?
I mean, Huskar definitely can always be an issue. It just depends on how his laning phase goes, and that's probably what they're more scared of. They're not scared of the mid game, they're scared of the lanes, because if you go against Huskar with 2 melee, you're going to get blasted, so... All right, we got some predictions here, Owen. What are you thinking?
This is player with most last hits of 7 minutes.
I'm gonna say Ice.
I'm gonna go with the old Ice.
Yeah.
Longest kill streak. I'm gonna go with the old 11. Highest
You're
network.
just going
I'm going with the Ice. I'm sorry, Sind. What's going on here? Old 11 and Yapso giving it some as old 11 heads down. He's gonna back away. Total number of player deaths. Where's Cinderin? Oh, you don't. Oh, okay. Total number. Cinderin is not a number. It will be if he dies. 36. Oh, Sin, do it for me. Here we have Escape Gaming versus Ehome Game 1 as we get ourselves into the lanes. In terms of the lanes, anything that you can imagine we're going to see teams try and avoid, or is it going to be standard stuff in terms of the tri lanes?
Well, Ehome definitely want to try to go aggressive. If the lane fails, they can always just send all 11 into the woods. Like, they don't have to go for any sort of all-in play. And he's even saved a little bit of money up. He's going to buy some items now. I think maybe he's just going to go straight to jungle. He bought a ton of regen and a stout shield, so... Yet to be decided if he's actually going to go to that lane or not. If he doesn't, the blink timing is going to be very fast, and I feel like Yapsor is limited in what he can accomplish on an Elder Titan against some kind of AFK jungler, right? Because you can't really just follow the hero around Elder Titan. So the early game for Escape is going to be more predicated around, you know, getting Quakefa farm, getting Era farm, and then hoping that you can group up and get something done before the Axe gets a blink, because that's going to be a really big issue for them. Stopping that initiation and also having to worry about Naga Siren song during the mid game.
Interesting there as well. They did have 4 heroes around at the bottom arena Escape Gaming, but not wanting to contest against Ehome's lineup there. Is it just the superior early game fight? Is there a reason why they wanted to dodge a fight at the bottom arena there, Escape Game?
They have okay level 1, I guess, but the problem is Invoker, he only has Sunstrike, and that's not really the easiest thing in the world to land. So they're going to make it so that they have the aggro tri-lane still, and they're just going to put the Axe against the Void, which is obviously a favorable matchup for the Axe against any melee. Old 11's going to do more than fine. And then the aggro tri-lane should also do all right, because again, committing these heroes to this tri-lane just seems very difficult for Escape to actually get a kill. If anything, Escape are going to be the ones who get jumped.
Well, we're already just hammering down onto Era. Lanham trying to keep the supports at bay on Escape Gaming. Ping Cinder and Yapsor away from their fellow core. So bottom lane, top lane. Indeed, in your words, Andy, you feel that Ehome, they've got the better hand. And well, bottom lane, let's see if they can actually manage to finish this one through as they try and go in. Sunstrike isn't going to connect. The Echo Stomp is going to be walked out of by old Lanham. Yapsor's going to give them the old rundown with the Stapler. A slap and a half here. Ice comes across to fend them away, but as we can see,
I mean, they're getting outplayed, honestly. Like, Lanham is way too far away from Fenrir, so he's just taking, like, these unfavorable trades, and he's almost completely out of regen already. That's not a good thing. Like, their supports are supposed to be beefy and want to trade hits.
Sin coming in as well. Again, Ice looking to finish through for the kill. They're going to quite get it. Both teams really going at it down here. Making sure to try and just hinder RSCS. I mean, at the moment, he's 6 for 2. He's not falling behind that far at all. Still finding the farm. The question is, I mean, how much does this aggressive tri-lane on the bottom lane need to achieve? Do they need to be finding kills, or is it enough just to slow down the Drow's early game?
I think it's okay to slow down the Drow, and the other thing, too, to keep in mind, so we're going to see a defensive stomp here. Actually hits on both and gets the rune. What a player, Yapsor. That was such a nice play. If he didn't get that rune, he was dead, for sure. But the biggest thing to me right now that's concerning is look at the mid matchup. Old Chicken versus Quakefa right now. Old Chicken is destroying him, and Quakefa is an Exort Evoker with Drow Aura. That should not happen that badly.
And this is
he's doubling his CS in 2.5 minutes. That is insane. So if they're forcing like the supports of Escape to sit bottom, and your mid's losing this hard, yeah, I definitely think it favors Ehome.
I guess on the plus side, of course, we've got to remember as well, Quakefa on his Invoker, it is a hero you can recover from a bad laning stage on. As long as he doesn't feed, doesn't die, we'll still have the Escape to climb back up that network graph as the game goes up. Indeed, Death Prophet's going to have the edge, and that could potentially lead to early towers and early pressure elsewhere on the map. At Kezu, moving away from Old 11. This lane at the top, Kezu's still managing to find a fair bit of CS. He's 13 for 211 for 0, so Kezu arguably playing this lane very nicely against the Axe.
He's gotten a lot more in the first few waves than I think probably should, but once the pulls start coming out and he's getting his creep wave denied, that's when the Axe is going to start getting further and further ahead. Fortunately, I don't think Kezu needs to win his lane. He just needs to make sure that his chronos are on point, and you can follow it up with things like Sunstrike and Echo Stomps and whatnot to get kills.
Well, still hunting for that first blood flow team. Yapzor stomping down onto one. The Thunder Strike out. Yapzor falling low. The Little Man Gus, but already they've lost one. First blood here to the side of Ehome, trying to finish off Old Lanham, but he's too tanky on this Ogre. They just don't quite have the damage at the moment of Escape Gaming. So Ehome get themselves the kill, and they lose nothing in return on this bottom line.
They just didn't have a good target to go on. Like, if you're attacking Lanham, okay, that's an Ogre Magi. He's got 10 armor when he's around Ice, who has that Bassi, and 700 health. I see a call here, just going for a little bit of farm. But yeah, the Escape have an issue where a lot of their damage is physical during the early game, and both Ice and Lanham have just an insane amount of armor.
Poison touch from Sin down onto the old Ogre. Turn around, try and slow them out here. The Stomp is going to connect. It's going to allow Yapzor and Sin to close a little bit of the gap. Also, Quakefa's moving over as well. He's going to look for the kill. Old Lanham, he's going to look to kill himself to creeps. Isn't going to work out. And ends up feeding a kill to the mid laner of Escape Gaming. Quakefa going to be very happy with that Ogre handed to him on a plate.
Yes, he needs it too, man. He's still, I mean, he's catching up a little bit, and that's to be expected. More points into Exort is more base damage, and then Era's obviously going to be making his way towards level 6 and get more points into Precision Aura. But it's not too bad right now for Escape. I think that their team fights, again, it's going to be very based on what Kezu can do with his Chronosphere placement, and obviously once the Marksmanship Aura comes online, we're looking to see some tower killing, but still a lot of Dota left to be played here.
Again, the supports from both sides just tickling at each other on this bottom lane, making their presence known. As we can see, 25 for 5 on Ice sides compared to the 15 for 3 of Era. So definite good success at the moment for Ehome. Yapzor just stomping it off as Fenris starts to get a little bit too close for his own comfort. Cinderin being covered there by Era's Gust to push back the side of Ehome.
It was actually a nice stomp from Yapzor because he stopped the pull. I think that's the main reason why he even put himself in that position in the first place. Because the more creeps that get denied from Era during the early game, the worse off you're going to be. Like, he's only 15 and 4 right now. Of all the heroes that are supposed to be getting farm, he is the lowest. So the pressure that Ehome are applying in the lane so far has been a success.
I mean, look at old Lanham. He just can be wherever he wants.
Dude, he's an Ogre.
He owns the map at this stage.
He's got Windlace, Boots, and Bloodlust. All you do is you walk around and you hit people with a club. That's the Ogre job right now.
And, a fair bit of Yapzor's time's wasted. He's hanging around there. He's like, well, what do I do? Well, looks like I've got to go back to base, refuel, and get myself back out into the lane.
Yeah. The more concerning thing right now is the fact that both the other side lanes are losing in conjunction with the fact that their safe lane is also being pressured. So Old 11's pulled ahead tremendously in terms of farm. Again, expected it's an Axe versus a melee. The middle lane not going as well as it should have for Quakefa. It's not looking super hot right now, but the nice thing is, I guess, that he went Vanguard first on Axe, so the blink timing is going to be delayed.
That's true. He's not going to be able to make the plays, but at the same time, it's going to be very hard for Escape Gaming to make plays on him. He's not going to die, and you can see his confidence. He's between the tier 1s and the tier 2s, hammering away at Kezu. Old 11 showing no fear at the moment because he knows that they're going to need multiple heroes if they want to have any chance of killing him. Mid lane, Old Lanham coming a little bit too close to the tower.
He actually got scanned before, so they already knew he was there. Quakefa's just trying to bait it out, I guess.
He'll get Chief with this. Looks like he's just going to come around and let me check if Kezu's around. Oh, he's just having a wonder on that.
He's checking the patented 7-minute rune, you know? Very standard play. Nah, he was just looking for a kill, but it was a very nicely placed scan from Escape to make sure that Quickbit didn't get dove there. Because I think at this point he doesn't have any Wex, right? Yeah, so he could have very well died in that situation if they weren't ready.
He has got Yapsor hanging around to the side of him. They realise that Old Lanham's gone walkies, so Yapsor's headed over mid. He's going to have the Spirit and the Stomp in case anyone tries to make a go on the Invoker. Top lane again, Axe, Old 11. Not a man afraid to get in. Close and personal to the Faceless Void. And they'll come out with a Ghost, look to commit to a push up top Ehome. And understandably, with this Axe and the Death Prophet up here with the ultimate online, it's unlikely that Escape Gaming are going to react to this, and they've just got to let this one go as Ehome take their first objective.
I mean, they could react by ganking bottom. Like, Ice doesn't have any mana, he's not 6. I would actually prefer to see Kezme make a rotation right now rather than sit here. Because when the Exorcism is down, that's a huge chunk of damage that Ehome don't have, and the offlane tier 1 for Radiant is not really that valuable, but if they're not going to get get away from big teamfight AoE, kind of like what Elder Titan and Void often bring to the table. So it's just a very nice utility for them to have.
A little burst of good news there for Escape Gaming as Quoifer gets his Midas done around the 9-minute mark. And as we can see, regarding the CS, the fact that Old Chicken obviously left the lane went top. A little bit of space was given to Quoifer, so he certainly has managed to start to catch up. And with that Midas, we can certainly expect to see him close the gap. And if the pace continues to go